Supreme Crazy Wife Chapter 1137. Published at 25th of August, 2022, 2:48 and 15 seconds AM. Chapter 1137. 1137 250,000 top-grade crystal stones. Ning Qi'er shouted. Stop shouting. In the private room, Ning Haoran covered Ning Qi'er's mouth with his hand and warned her. Brother, don't stop me. I'm going to make this annoying woman bleed. Ning Qi'er pulled Ning Haoran's hand away and said angrily, 300,000 high-grade crystal stones. Immediately after, Ning Qi'er shouted again. However, everyone present thought that she was a little crazy, because the other party did not bid at all, and she had forcibly raised her bid from 250,000 to 300,000. This made everyone speechless. You're crazy. Hearing Ning Qi'er continue to bid, Ning Haoran's face darkened. I will definitely make that damned Lung Ruoxia bleed. Ning Qi'er said a little crazily. What blood? The other party isn't bidding at all. You're the only one who's bidding. Ning Haoran said angrily. As soon as he finished speaking, the host's voice was heard. Congratulations to the lady in the number 2 VIP box for winning this item. Now please enjoy her luck. After that, the host revealed the mystery. It turned out that the mysterious item was just a holy weapon level cup. Everyone was dumbfounded when they saw the blue cup. Although it was a saint weapon, what could a cup do? Now, they deeply suspected that the Ning family had made such a move to play with them. But even so, no one dared to say this out loud. However, the crowd also lost interest in the next auction item. When Ning Qi'er found out that she had spent 300,000 high-grade crystal stones, but only got a cup, she was so angry that she almost died. Her hatred for Lung Ruoxia grew even deeper, but she was even more afraid that she would take the cup and ask her for money. Brother, you have to help me. Ning Qi'er pulled Ning Haoran's arm and said coquettishly. Help you? How do you want me to help you? Do you think I can take out so many Jingshi? Ning Haoran said unhappily. Continue _reading _MYB0XN0VL. Come brother, didn't you give that Ning Xiao 1,000 top-grade crystals? Help me pay this bill as well. Ning Qi'er requested. As a member of the Ning family, she was very clear about the rules of the Ning family. The family would not pay a single cent for the things she bought, so it was impossible for her to renege on the debt, even if this was the divine mainland. I don't have any more money. You can settle this yourself. Don't come to me. Ning Haoran was a little annoyed. Did his sister think he was a crystal mine? If he ran out of money, he would ask him for it. It wasn't easy for him to save up some money. He had saved up the 1,000 top-grade crystals for a long time. Brother. Before Ning Qi'er could finish her sentence, she heard a knock on the door. Soon after, the guard of the auction house walked in with the Saint Artifact cup. After placing the cup on the table, the guard said very respectfully, Miss Ning, this is the cup you bid for. It's a total of 300,000 top-grade crystal stones. Please pay immediately. Brother. Ning Qi'er looked at Ning Haoran and called out pitifully. However, Ning Haoran turned his head to the other side. Miss Ning, please pay the full amount. The guard repeated. Why are you so anxious? With my status, do you think I'd be short of your money? Ning Qi'er shouted angrily. Miss, as a member of the Ning family, you should know that this is the rule of the Ning family. I'm just following the rules. Please don't make things difficult for me. The guard said in a tone that was neither servile nor overbearing. The acting family head and the great elder had already instructed him to collect the debt. If he couldn't get the money back, he didn't need to come back. How dare you say that I'm making things difficult for you, humph? I don't want this thing anymore, you better return it. Ning Qi'er used this as an excuse. I'm sorry, Miss Ning. We don't refund the items sold at our auction house. So whether you want it or not, you have to pay for it. After you pay, I won't care even if you throw it away. So don't make things difficult for me. The guard said helplessly. Ning Qi'er was so angry at the guard that she couldn't speak. Her beautiful face was also flushed red. Miss Ning, if you don't pay up, we'll report this to the main family. You'll have to pay for it too. Moreover, if the main family finds out about this, I'm afraid it'll be bad for your reputation. The guard reminded. But I don't have that much money right now. What do you think I should do? Ning Qi'er went all out. She had already lost face anyway, so why would she care about not paying? Miss Ning, the head of the family, has told the great elder that if you can't pay up, you have two choices. One is that we report this to the head of the family, and the other is to stay in the divine mainland and work for the Ning family until you pay off your debt. In addition, you have to pay interest. The guard said, please choose one. I'll go back and report after I've made my choice. The guard urged, I'll stay in the godly mainland to work to pay off my debts. Ning Qi'er gritted her teeth. All right then, please sign this contract, Miss Ning. The guard took out a contract from his storage ring and handed it to Ning Qi'er. I've signed it, here you go. Ning Qi'er took the contract angrily. After signing her name, she threw it back to the guard. The guard looked at the name on the contract and nodded in satisfaction. He then turned and left. Miss Ning, this cup is pretty. After the guard left, Ning Kai knew that Ning Qi'er was not in a good mood and comforted her. However, his comforting words made Ning Qi'er even angrier. If you like it, I'll give it to you. Ning Qi'er picked up the glass and threw it directly at Ning Kai. Ning Kai was not prepared that Ning Qi'er would turn hostile, so he was hit by the glass. It even hit his head and blood started to flow. Although it was only a cup, it was still a saint weapon. Its hardness was incomparable to ordinary cups, so it could be damaged if it was smashed. Thank you for your gift, Miss Ning. Ning Kai immediately ate a pill and said pitifully. He didn't know what he had said wrong. Woo! Why would he get beaten up for comforting people? He felt so wronged. Supreme Crazy Wife Chapter 1138. Published at 25th of August, 2022, 2:48 and 14 seconds AM. Chapter 1138. 1138. Ning Qi'er was gritting her teeth gloomily, but Lung Ruoxia and the rest were very happy. In Lung Ruoxia's private room, everyone was discussing spiritedly, because none of them had expected that the mysterious item that was auctioned for 300,000 high-grade crystal stones was actually just a cup for drinking water. They just didn't know if it had any special effects. But this should be the most expensive cup in the divine realm. Hee. This time, Miss Ning was probably going to cry to death. Little girl, it's a good thing you didn't bid for that thing, or you'd have suffered a great loss. However, now that this cup has fallen into the hands of the Ning family, I don't understand. Did the Ning family profit or lose? The first elder said with a conflicted expression. Of course it's a profit, but it's a loss for Ning Qi'er. Lung Ruoxia said. Little Shuer, what did you tell that Feng De kid just now? Master Ning was also curious. Not long after the mystery item was revealed, Lung Ruoxia had whispered something to Feng De, and Feng De had left after that. This had piqued Master Ning's curiosity. It's nothing. I just asked Feng De to tell Ning Fei and the first elder of the Ning family that if Ning Qi'er can't pay the money, she can sell her body to pay the debt. Of course, if you are willing to pay for her, that's fine too. Lung Ruoxia laughed evilly. She didn't need to guess to know that Ning Qi'er was definitely furious at this moment. She just didn't know which unlucky person would be implicated. I don't have any money, so I'll let her sell her body to pay off her debts. Master Ning said fearfully. You miser, you don't even care about your own descendants. The first elder laughed happily when he heard Master Ning's words. I have too many descendants. If I manage every one of them, I won't be able to manage them. Master Ning said matter-of-factly. Who could he blame for that? Who told you to give birth to so many? You're just asking for trouble. The first elder said with some schadenfreude. As the crowd teased each other, the next item was placed on the stage. The host looked at the crowd and said excitedly, Everyone, the starting price for this item is 50 high-grade crystals. The rules are the same as before, so you can bid now. After hearing the MC's words, the entire venue fell silent again. With the previous experience, they were now a little uninterested in this mysterious auction item. After all, no one wanted to spend a sky-high price to buy a cup. However, the auction had not officially ended, so those who wanted to leave did not dare to move. Who asked this to be the Ning family's? He didn't dare to not give the Ning family face. Continue _reading on MYB0XN0VL. Calm, however, The crowd had already decided to be spectators. In any case, it was impossible to get money from them. After waiting for a moment, the host saw that no one made a bid and couldn't help but say in disappointment, "No one is interested in this item? This was good stuff. It's hard to find even with 1,000 gold." Unfortunately, no one believed the host's words, even though he was exaggerating. The lesson from before was too profound, so profound that they didn't dare to easily lay their hands on unknown items. The risk was too great. Don't regret it if you don't bid. The host reminded him, not giving up. He was secretly worried. At this time, the auction venue was so quiet that even the sound of breathing could not be heard. Many people lowered their heads so that the MC would not remember their faces. They were very afraid that the Ning family would make life difficult for them after this. 100 top-grade crystals. Seeing that no one was speaking, Lung Ruoxia called out softly, "The young lady in the first VIP box has bid 100 high-grade crystals. Is there anyone else who wants to bid?" The MC said excitedly, "Wu, it's good that someone is finally giving me face." When the crowd saw the host's excited look, they thought that he was excited because someone else had bid. 100 top-quality crystal stones going once. 100 top-quality crystal stones going twice. After the host's hammer fell, he deliberately paused to give the others a chance to bid. However, it was obvious that no one appreciated his gesture. 100 top-quality crystal stones going thrice. This auction item now belongs to the lady in room 1. The host shouted excitedly. However, when he revealed the truth, everyone was dumbfounded again. This time, they were completely dumbfounded. This was because the mysterious auction item this time was actually a sparkling and translucent crystal doll. The little doll was only the size of a palm, and had all the facial features. Its entire body was transparent, and there seemed to be a liquid flowing inside. Oh my god! What is this? Isn't this the spirit ginseng fruit? Why would there be a spirit ginseng fruit in an auction? What a pity! As soon as the items were revealed, some people wrung their hands, some people lamented, but most of them were regretful, and they were so regretful that they wanted to vomit blood. This was because the spirit ginseng fruit was too rare for cultivators. There were not many of these things in the divine world, and they were all sky-high prices. Ordinary cultivators could not afford it at all. However, not only did this spirit ginseng fruit appear in the auction, but it was also sold for 100 high-grade crystal stones. This result was hard for many people to accept. Immediately, some people began to question. What kind of auction is this? Aren't you playing with us? A middle-aged man took the lead. That's right. We want to re-auction the spirit ginseng fruit. Some people jeered, but more people were just watching. When the MC heard what they said, she said calmly, "I've already said before the auction that this is a new game of our auction house. Whether the item is precious or not depends on luck. Moreover, before the auction, I've also said that this is definitely a good item that is hard to find. I can only say that you're not fated to have this spirit ginseng fruit. The lady in room 1 has won the bid for the spirit ginseng fruit. She's just lucky. So don't be jealous. There's more good stuff down there. Don't miss it this time." The host reminded. After hearing the host's words, the scene became quiet again, because they had been waiting for this sentence. After all, everyone knew that there was no reason to re-auction the things that had already been auctioned. If the Ning family really did this, where would their prestige be? In the future, who would dare to trade in the Ning family's auction house? The host saw that the crowd had quieted down, so he wiped the cold sweat off his forehead and continued with the auction. At the same time, Lung Ruoxia had already received the spirit ginseng fruit. Looking at the lifelike doll in her hands, Lung Ruoxia could not help but sigh at the wonders of nature. Could this be the ginseng fruit that was mentioned in the novels of her previous life? She couldn't help but let her imagination run wild. Big sister, the people of the divine realm have fallen. They actually treat this broken thing as a treasure. Suddenly, Qingju's disdainful voice rang in Lung Ruoxia's mind. Isn't this good? Lung Ruoxia transmitted a question with a face full of suspicion. It's not bad. Actually, this thing is a kind of fruit. The spiritual energy contained in it is not bad. Otherwise, it would not be so sought after by those people. Qingju explained. We don't seem to have such a thing in our space. Lung Ruoxua asked out of curiosity. There's no such thing. Back when Old Master transplanted the fruit tree from the divine realm, this spiritual ginseng fruit was not qualified to enter. Qingju said matter-of-factly. How did the spiritual fruits in the space get in? Lung Ruoxua asked in confusion. She felt that Qingju's words were too contradictory. Sister, the spirit fruits that Old Master moved into the space are the best in all realms. I didn't know why he did this before, but now I know. Those spirit fruits were prepared for you. Qingju said with some sadness. The Old Master must have predicted that he would take his sister as a disciple. Hence he had prepared those things. However, there were many things that he could not remember in the past. As the seal was removed, he could remember more and more things. Oh, Lung Ruoxua replied softly. Even though she did not know her master's true identity, she could vaguely guess that her master's identity was definitely not ordinary. Sister, you can keep this spirit ginseng fruit for now. Although it's not very useful, it can still be used to concoct pills. Qingju warned. All right, he said. Lung Ruoxua nodded her head slightly and thought sigh. Qingju's standards were too high. He didn't even care about the spirit ginseng fruit. She still remembered the reaction of the people outside when they found out that she had won the spirit ginseng fruit with 100 high-grade crystal stones. Supreme Crazy Wife Chapter 1139. Published at 25th of August, 2022, 2:48 and 14 seconds AM. Chapter 1139. 1139. However, Qingju's disdain could not stop Fengde and the rest from being curious about the spirit ginseng fruit. After they took the spirit ginseng fruit from Lung Ruoxua, they started to spread the news as if they had discovered a new continent. This is the first time I've seen a fruit that looks like a child. Is this good? Fengde asked curiously. Captain, how can you eat such a cute fruit? I don't dare to eat it. Lin Yuan asked curiously. I didn't say I wanted to eat it, I was just curious. Fengde said, a little speechless. Looking at the lifelike doll, he really couldn't bring himself to eat it. Little brat, this spiritual ginseng fruit is a kind of fruit unique to the divine realm. Although it's not the best, it's quite suitable for your current strength. Master Ning explained with a smile. Oh, Fengde nodded in understanding. Little girl, you can either eat this fruit now or make it into an elixir. Otherwise, when you reach our level, any fruit will be useless. The first elder chimed in. He was trying to remind Lung Ruoxua not to waste it. No matter how good this fruit was, it would be of little use to powerful people. Yes, I plan to refine it into a pill. Lung Ruoxua nodded. Since many of the spirit fruits in her interspace were of a higher grade than this, one spirit ginseng fruit was nothing to her. Moreover, there were so many of them. So one spirit ginseng fruit was not enough to split among them. Miss, are you really going to refine it into a pill? Sueju looked at the white, tender, and clear fruit in her hand and said with some reluctance. Well, silly girl, that's just a fruit. With Godfather here, we can eat any kind of fruit we want in the future. Lung Ruoxua chuckled. Right. That's right, haha. This old thing is very rich and has a lot of good things. Don't let him go. The first elder immediately chuckled in agreement. You guys are so bad, you only know how to bully me. Master Ning said with a wronged face. Godfather, we didn't bully you. Did you just say that you want to be my goddaughter? You have to give me some benefits. Lung Ruoxua laughed evilly. Here. However, my good things have almost all been plundered by this old thing, so you can go and rob him. Master Ning pointed at the great elder, and said fiercely. Old man Ning, when have I ever plundered your things? Don't wrong me. Who in the divine realm doesn't know that you're a miser? You can only lie to this little girl. No one would believe that. First elder immediately retorted. Continue _reading _ on MYB0XN0VL. You didn't do it a while ago? And before? Master Ning said with wide eyes. That's your Ning family's money, not yours. The first elder pouted. Aren't the Ning family's things mine? Master Ning shouted at the top of his voice. That's compensation. Do you understand compensation? Old man Ning, I was scolded because of you. Because of you I was locked up in prison. You haven't compensated me yet, but I will remember it for you. First elder warned. He might be able to hold on for a while, but he would not be able to hold on for a lifetime. He would get back these debts sooner or later. I don't have money. Go get it from whoever scolded you. Don't look for me. Master Ning was ready to play dirty to the end. Godfather, great elder, stop bickering. The auction has started again. Lung Ruoxue felt a slight headache as she reminded him. She really had to give it to them. These two old men who had lived for God knows how long could actually quarrel over such a small matter. However, this might be the joy of their friendship. When the two of them heard this, they immediately shut their mouths in tacit understanding and continued to enjoy the show outside. After the climax of the spirit ginseng fruit, the host waited for everyone to calm down a little before ordering people to present the next item. Looking at the eager expressions of the audience, the host smiled with satisfaction and said, "Everyone, the starting price for this item is also 50 top-grade crystals. Everyone can start bidding now." As soon as the MC finished speaking, the people sitting below the stage couldn't wait to start bidding. 100 top-grade crystals. Someone spoke first. 500 top-grade crystals. After one person made a bid, another person immediately raised the price to 500. However, this still did not stop the enthusiasm of the crowd, and the price continued to rise. In less than half an hour, the price of this mysterious item had already risen to 100,000 high-grade crystal stones, and there were still people who continued to bid. The host looked at the heated auction scene and was extremely satisfied. This time their auction house could make a big profit again. He really admired the great elder for being able to think of such a method. The great elder's gift was also clever enough. However, he also knew to stop while he was ahead. When the price of this item rose to 200,000 high-grade crystal stones, he decisively sold it. When the mystery of this mysterious item was revealed, the owner of the item was a little disappointed, but not too pained. After all, this item was about the same price as the one he had bid for. However, its practicality was far inferior to the spirit ginseng fruit. The next few items were also auctioned for more than 100,000 high-grade crystal stones. However, the people who got them were not very satisfied. After all, there was still some gap from their expectations. However, they could not blame anyone, because the host had said that what could be won would depend on luck. Don't worry everyone, there's even better ones coming up. The host calmed the crowd down a little before continuing the auction. Although the previous few items were not completely satisfactory, their curiosity had been completely aroused. Therefore, they were extremely enthusiastic about the upcoming items. When the host ordered someone to bring up another item, everyone present could feel the rich spiritual energy that was emitted from that item. Instantly, everyone became excited. The starting price for this item is still 50 pieces of high-grade crystal stones. Now everyone can start bidding. 500. 2,000. I'll pay 3,000. Everyone started bidding, and the price was quickly raised. Lung Ruoxue and the others were in the VIP box. Supreme Crazy Wife Chapter 1140. Published at 25th of August, 2022, 2:48 and 13 seconds AM. Chapter 1140. 1140. Master Ning looked at the crowd outside the crystal glass and was very satisfied. However, he was quite curious why Schwer didn't bid. Little Schwer, don't you want this thing? Master Ning asked curiously. I don't want to. Lung Ruoxue replied without hesitation. Even though the spiritual energy of this item was not bad, she didn't really need it, so she naturally wouldn't bid. If I'm not wrong, this should be a medicinal herb. The great elder said with a look of understanding. It seemed that Ning Fei and the others had put in a lot of effort for today's auction. Little girl, wouldn't it be perfect if you bid for the medicinal herbs? Master Ning reminded. I don't want to. With so many people bidding, the price will definitely be raised. I don't want to be a spendthrift. Lung Ruoxue replied matter-of-factly. Actually, she had her own cheating device. Therefore they knew very well what the item being auctioned was, so they would not bid easily. Even though Lung Ruoxue and the rest were not interested in such an item, it was still sold for close to 300,000 high-grade crystal stones. After the mystery that everyone was anticipating was revealed, everyone finally found out that it was a 1,000-year-old ginseng. After the ginseng, the host took out a few more items. However, the value of those items made the owners of those items extremely depressed, because they had made a loss. Everyone, we will now be displaying the last item of this auction. The starting price is also 50 high-grade crystals. Everyone can start bidding now. The host said the same thing as usual, but he had to say it. However, after experiencing the ups and downs of the previous items, the people present were much calmer and more rational. Although in the past auctions, the last item would definitely be the most valuable item, this time no one dared to be sure. The Ning family's play had already broken their usual way of thinking. In the previous auctions, many people had spent almost all their money, so there were no more people left who could bid for the last item. Everyone, this is the last item of this auction. If you don't bid, don't regret it. The host reminded him as usual. I bid 100 pieces of top-quality crystal stones. After the MC finished speaking, the crowd was silent for a long time before someone made a bid. I bid 150 pieces of high-grade crystal stones. Another person made a bid. Just like that, the price of this item rose at a snail's pace. It was clear that the crowd's enthusiasm for this last item was not very high, and towards the end, there were very few people who bid. When the price rose to 500 pieces of high-grade crystal, the crowd went silent again. No one continued to bid. Continue _reading _ on MYB0XN0VL. Calm, however, the host didn't strike the small hammer in his hand, as if he was waiting for something. 510 top-grade crystals. Suddenly, Lung Ruoxue's voice rang out in the hall. After everyone heard her words, several black lines flowed down from their foreheads in unison, and they couldn't help but curse in their hearts. Was it worth shouting for just 10 high-grade crystals? Ning Qi, who was in the other private room, was about to raise the price after hearing Lung Ruoxue's bid, but Ning Haoran quickly covered her mouth. Shut up. You're not allowed to make any more noise. Ning Haoran felt a headache coming on. This sister of his was too insensible. He had already told her to get along well with Lung Ruoxue, but she just wouldn't listen. He was really infuriated. Brother, don't forget that we were all humiliated by her just now. Are you really going to take it lying down? Ning Qi pulled down her brother's hand and said angrily. The Grand Madam's personal token is in her hands, so even if she can't bear it, we have to bear with it. Ning Haoran warned. He had always been a flexible person, so he would not fall out with Lung Ruoxue and the others over such a small matter. However, he would not forget the humiliation he had suffered today. Don't forget that you just signed a contract to stay on the godly mainland to pay your debt. Do you really want to stay here forever? Ning Haoran said. I don't want to. This is all the fault of that damned Lung Ruoxue. Ning Qi said with hatred in her eyes. Humph. She would definitely not let Lung Ruoxue off. Qi, I won't let her off either. However, we can only endure it for now. When the time is right, you can do whatever you want to her. Ning Haoran promised. Really? Big brother, don't lie to me. Ning Qi had a look of disbelief. Qi, no matter who I lie to, I will never lie to you. Don't tell me you don't even believe your brother's words? Ning Haoran raised his eyebrows and asked. Of course I believe what you said, brother. I'm just afraid. Before Ning Qi could finish her sentence, she heard the MC's voice. She was even more furious. Damn it. She only used 510 high-grade crystals to get a top-grade moon crystal. How can her luck be so good? There's definitely something fishy here. Ning Qi couldn't be bothered with her brother's topic and shouted in jealousy. Even though she was not a weapon refiner, she was still very clear about the value of a moon crystal. A moon crystal the size of a fingernail could possibly upgrade a saint weapon to a divine weapon. Furthermore, the moon crystal that Lung Ruoxue had won was bigger than 2 adult fists combined. This was really too unreasonable. The more Ning Qi thought about it, the angrier she got. Then, without caring about the consequences, she mocked the audience and shouted, There's something fishy about this auction. They're definitely colluding. As soon as Ning Qi'er said this, the auction hall burst into an uproar. Those who were already dissatisfied took the opportunity to make a fuss. That's right, your Ning family is really disappointing. The things that were auctioned off before were all sold for such a high price, but the most valuable moon crystal was only sold for 510 high-grade crystals. We demand that the Ning family give us a reasonable explanation immediately. Otherwise, don't even think about us attending their auctions in the future. A discordant voice was heard from the crowd, but the owner of the voice did not dare to show his face. What explanation do you want to hear? Don't tell me that the Ning family's auctioned items are worth a lot of money, and we need your consent. I'll say it for the last time. I've already said that the new game is based on luck. Can you blame others for your own bad luck? Also, do you dare to stand out and let us see who you are? The host's sharp words immediately quieted down the somewhat restless scene, and his eyes that were searching around made people not dare to look at him directly. Calm. Supreme Crazy Wife Chapter 1141. Published at 25th of August, 2022, 2:48 and 13 seconds AM. Chapter 1141. 1141, what's wrong? No one dared to speak? My Ning clan's auction has always had a good reputation in the divine realm. If any of you want to doubt the reputation of our Ning clan, you don't have to come and participate in the future. Seeing that no one dared to speak, the host continued. Don't be fooled by him. The woman who won the moon crystal is with them. Seeing this, Ning Qi'er shouted through the crystal glass. However, just as she finished shouting, she heard a paw. Ning Qi'er's beautiful face was slapped. Ning Qi'er looked at Ning Haoran in disbelief. With tears in her eyes, she said, Big brother, why did you hit me? Do you know what you're saying? Even if you have any dissatisfaction, you can't ruin the Ning family's reputation in front of outsiders. If this matter were to be spread back to the main family, do you still want to live? Ning Haoran said with a face full of disappointment. If the old ancestor knew about this, he would definitely not let Ning Qi'er off. Now he really regretted bringing Ning Qi'er to the divine mainland. Not only did she not help him, but she had also caused him trouble. I didn't say that Lung Ruoxia is from the Ning family. Ning Qi'er argued. She did not think that she had done anything wrong. On the contrary, she felt that she was placing righteousness before family to protect the Ning family's reputation. Just because you didn't say it doesn't mean that others won't think about it. Did you forget that the owner of this auction house also has the surname Ning? Ning Haoran said angrily. In the VIP box, Ning Haoran was lecturing his sister. However, the host on the auction stage was quite calm, and one could not even see the slightest bit of panic on him. Everyone, those who know our Ning family should know our Ning family's rules. Whether you're a member of the Ning family or not, if you want to buy something at the auction house, you have to pay according to the price. And the lady in the number 1 VIP box is indeed our Ning family's distinguished guest. However, the lady who just said that we're in the same group, I want to ask, as the lady of the Ning family's main family, are you not in the same group as us? The host asked very calmly. Hehe. The two young ladies who won the first and the last mystery item are both from the Ning family, but their luck is completely different. If you still think that there's something fishy about our auction, then I have nothing to say. Just listen to me. The MC paused on purpose and said nonchalantly. Since he had already pointed out Ning Qi'er's identity, there was no need to say anything more. As for what others would think, it would be none of his business. The MC's words had a certain effect. After everyone knew Ning Qi'er's identity, they thought of the lattice good luck in the know. 1 VIP box. They didn't need to think to know that this was an internal fight in the family. It was all because of jealousy. After thinking it through, everyone calmed down and stopped brooding over this matter. After all, the Ning family's auction price was clear and honest. They couldn't blame anyone for not getting the moon crystal. Who asked them to be so timid? At this moment, in Lung Ruoxia's and the others' VIP box, Master Ning's face was dark as he glared at the person in VIP box number 2 across the crystal glass, wishing he could kill the person in there. I say, old man Ning, stop staring. Unless you dare to release your pressure, otherwise people can't feel it at all. Don't waste your energy. The great elder couldn't stand it anymore and reminded him. Continue_reading_ on MYB0XN0VL. Come, don't stop me, this unfilial grandson. If I had known that she would be like this, I would have strangled her to death when I gave birth to her. Master Ning said angrily. Don't worry, Godfather, we won't stop you. If you need any help, just let me know. Lung Ruoxua laughed and teased. Shuer, this is all your fault. You can't just leave it be, can you? Master Ning said with I'm counting on you look. What does this have to do with me? Godfather, please don't wrong me. Lung Ruoxua felt wronged. Her beautiful eyes were glistening with tears, making the evildoer's heart ache. Master Ning, it's clearly your grandson's fault. How can you blame my Shuer? The demon squinted his eyes and said unhappily. How could this little girl be yours? You two aren't even married. Master Ning provoked him on purpose. Marriage is just a formality, Shuer is mine. This is a fact that no one can change. Humph. Whoever dares to take my Shuer away, it'll definitely make him regret ever being born. The demon warned. Master Ning was speechless. He had also realized that those who were with Lung Ruoxua had a serious tendency to be violent. He couldn't afford to offend him. Just as Master Ning was moaning and sighing, the guards had already delivered the moon crystal stones that Lung Ruoxua had won. After the transaction was completed, the great elder looked at the rather large moon crystal and said with a drool, Little girl, you're so lucky. You can buy such a big moon crystal at such a low price. Moon crystals were extremely precious to blacksmiths. With them, even a blacksmith master without a natal divine fire could raise the quality of a saint weapon to a higher level. Although the success rate was not 100%, it could at least reach 60%. Therefore, moon crystals had always been hard to find, not to mention such a large piece of top-grade moon crystal. It was something that could not be bought with money. The quality of equipment that could be improved by the moon crystal was not something that other moon crystals could compare to. Yes, I've always been lucky. Lung Ruoxua replied without any hesitation. Little girl, can you give me some of these stones? The first elder said, a little embarrassed. Ordinary moon crystals were not of much use to him, but they were of the highest quality, and he really needed them. Sure, let's each take half. Lung Ruoxua said generously. Shuer, don't you know how precious these moon crystals are? This is a peak-grade moon crystal. Master Ning reminded. I know. It could only improve the quality of equipment. It's not a big deal. Lung Ruoxua replied nonchalantly. Actually, she had kept half of it for the old man. She had no use for it herself. The purity of her flame was much better than this moon crystal. Supreme Crazy Wife Chapter 1142. Published at 25th of August, 2022, 2:48 and 12 seconds AM. Chapter 1142. 1142, Master Ning was speechless. He had thought that this little girl didn't know how precious moon crystals were. After all this, they didn't even take it seriously. However, he was really curious about what this little girl cared about. Little girl, I won't take your things for free. In the future, if you need anything, just let me know. The first elder said with a smile. Okay, don't worry. I won't be polite. Lung Ruoxua chuckled. After she finished speaking, she took out a tool and split the moon crystal stone into two. She handed one half to the first elder, and kept the other half into her bracelet. After the distribution was done, Lung Ruoxua and the rest prepared to leave the auction hall. Unfortunately, when he reached the door, he met the Ning siblings and Ning Xiang and his son. You're really like a ghost that can't leave. Why do I see you everywhere I go? Before Lung Ruoxua and the rest could say anything, Ning Qier started to complain. She was in a bad mood after being scolded by her brother. Miss Ning, that's exactly what I wanted to say, but I don't think you have time to waste on me now. You'd better think about how to explain what you just did to the Ning family. Lung Ruoxua reminded kindly. What did I do just now? Don't wrong me. Ning Qier shouted angrily. She didn't feel that she was in the wrong at all, and she wouldn't allow Lung Ruoxua to laugh at her. You didn't do anything. You just said something you shouldn't have. Lung Ruoxua said with a faint smile. After she finished speaking, she led the crowd and walked past Ning Qi'er, leaving the auction house without looking back. After returning to the inn, Lung Ruoxue greeted everyone and went straight into her room. And this time, she returned to her room and did not show her face for 3 days. In the living room, the first elder and Master Ning stared at each other. For the past 3 days, Lung Ruoxue had shut herself in her room to cultivate while Feng De and the rest were busy with something. The Ning siblings did not appear in front of them, causing the 2 old men to be bored. "I say, old man Ning, where are the 2 descendants of your family?" The grand elder asked curiously. "He's probably making money to pay off his debts." Master Ning guessed. He did not pay much attention to the whereabouts of the 2 people. It was likely that they would not have a good time, because on the day the auction ended, he had sent news of Ning Qi'er's performance in the auction house back to the family, and someone would naturally take responsibility for this matter. Continue _reading _ on MYB0XN0VL. Como. Hehe. I wonder if they can learn their lesson this time. The first elder said with an evil smile. I should be able to. Master Ning was not sure either. He was getting more and more disappointed with the performance of the younger generation in the family. Not only did they scheme against each other all day long, but they also tarnished the family's reputation, which was what he could not tolerate the most. Therefore, he had ordered the family to punish Ning Qi'er severely. As for Ning Haoren, he was implicated by Ning Qi'er. Just as Master Ning had expected, Ning Qi'er and Ning Haoren were currently working like cows and horses in the Master Ning residence, in the backyard of the Ning family's main residence. Ning Qi'er looked at the pile of dirty clothes in front of her and scolded angrily. Damn you, Ning Fei! How dare you ask me to do these servants' things? I won't let him off when I return to the main family. The more she thought about it, the more she hated Lung Ruoxue. She blamed it all on Lung Ruoxue. Miss Ning, if you can't finish washing these clothes today, don't even think about going back to the guest house. This is the order of the host. Ning Qi'er's curses were heard by Ning Fei, who came to check, but he was not angry at all. Instead, he smiled and said to Ning Qi'er, Ning Fei, do you know who you're talking to? Ning Qi'er's beautiful face was red as she gritted her teeth in anger. She was a direct descendant of the main family, and Ning Fei, who was only a branch family in the godly land, dared to treat her like this. She really didn't want to live anymore. Miss Ning, although you're the main family's young miss, everything I'm doing now is completely according to the main family's orders. So if you want to blame someone, blame the main family. Ning Fei said with a smile. However, before he left, he still reminded Ning Qi'er to wash these clothes. If they did not pass the inspection, she could not return to the inn. Ning Qi'er glared at Ning Fei's back with hatred. However, no matter how much she hated him, she had to finish washing these clothes. Otherwise, unless she could kill the Nings in the godly mainland or bribe them, they would definitely complain to the main family. Compared to Ning Qi'er's depression, Ning Fei was in a very good mood. He really didn't expect that the main family would give him such an order, asking him to train Ning Haoren and his sister. Didn't that mean that they wanted him to torture them? Ning Fei went back to the study with a smile on his face. The first elder of the Ning family was waiting for him in the study with a serious face. Fei, you're back. The first elder said indifferently. Is there something you need, first elder? Ning Fei said with a puzzled look. Fei, don't torture the Ning siblings too much, or else if the main family forgives them, we'll be the ones to suffer. The Ning family's first elder said worriedly. Although the main family punished them now, who knew if they would let them go? If the main family didn't pursue the matter, these 2 siblings would definitely make things difficult for them. First elder, don't worry. I know what I'm doing. I have a feeling that they won't be able to make a comeback this time. Ning Fei guessed. He was one of the witnesses of Ning Qi'er's words at the auction house. After that, the host ordered the punishment of the siblings. It was very likely that Lung Ruoxue was the one who did it. Therefore, how could Miss Lung give them a chance to turn things around? Wouldn't that be asking for trouble? When he thought of this, he was even more determined to follow Lung Ruoxue's footsteps. He definitely could not let that pair of siblings run around. After the Ning siblings lost their power, he directly locked up Ning Xiang and his son. This time, No one could think of getting them out. Fair, no matter how much the master likes Ning Xiang, he can't be the master. So, you just need to manage the Ning family well. That way, you can have a place in the master's family in the future. The Ning family's first elder said earnestly. First elder, I know. Ning Fei said gratefully. Supreme Crazy Wife Chapter 1143. Published at 25th of August, 2022, 2:48 and 12 seconds AM. Chapter 1143. 1143. Do a good job. The first elder of the Ning family patted Ning Fei's shoulder, and then left the study. The Ning siblings didn't finish their work until it was very late. After they returned to the inn, they lay in bed and didn't want to get up. The fact that they were so tired showed how much work Ning Fei had arranged for them. The next day, the brother and sister both pretended to be sick and refused to get up. After hearing the news, Ning Fei came to the shop to visit in person, even bringing an alchemist with him. Ning Haoran's room. Ning Fei looked at Ning Haoran, who was lying on the bed with a pale face. He could not believe that Ning Haoran was sick. People in the divinity could be called gods. How could they fall sick like ordinary people? In his opinion, the two were just pretending. However, they were still the direct descendants of the main family, so Ning Fei would not force them. Young Master Ning, how is it? I've brought an alchemist with me. Why don't you ask him to help you refine some pills? Ning Fei said with a smile and a caring look. No need, I've already eaten. Ning Haoran suppressed his anger and pretended to be extremely weak. He couldn't help but curse in his heart. Was this considered being bullied by a dog? He was still a direct descendant of the Ning family. Although he didn't dare to say that he could call the wind and summon the rain in the Ning family, he was at least a famous person in the younger generation. When had he ever been bullied like this? He would deal with these people when he returned to the immortal realm. If he didn't take revenge, he would write the word Ning backwards. Ning Haoran was filled with hatred in his heart, but he still had to show gratitude on his face. Since that's the case, then young noble Ning should have a good rest today. I'll report your illness to the main family. Ning Fei said with a faint smile. Then, he turned around and left Ning Haoran's room without giving him a chance to speak. After leaving Ning Haoran's room, Ning Fei went to see Ning Qi'er again. However, it was not appropriate for a man to go into a girl's room, so he just greeted her outside the room and left. As soon as Ning Fei left, the door of Ning Qi'er's room opened. Ning Qi'er ran out of her room and ran into Ning Haoran's room. Big brother, I can't take it anymore. Quickly think of a way. I want to go back to the divine realm now. Ning Qi'er's face was bitter, and she said in a flustered manner, I don't want to go back. We have to leave. Moreover, even if we return to the divine realm, we will still be punished. Moreover, the reason why we are in this state is all because of you. Ning Haoran shouted angrily. As long as he thought about how he had been implicated by Ning Qi'er, the anger in his heart would go hoo-hoo. Scurrying upwards. How can you blame me for this? I'm doing this for the good of the Ning family. Ning Qi'er argued, feeling wronged. Continue _reading on MYB0XN0VL. You still have the face to say that? If it wasn't for what you said at the auction that day, would we have been punished by the family? Ning Fei was so angry that his face turned red and his neck became thick. He had already asked his father, and this was a direct order from the master of the family. Unless the master was willing to let them go, no one could help them. It's all because of Lung Ruoxia. I won't let her off. Ning Qi'er said hatefully. It's not her. The order was given by the master. Ning Haoran said with a slight headache. He had already told the old ancestor to tell Ning Qi'er to restrain herself in the divine mainland, and not to provoke Lung Ruoxia, but she just wouldn't listen. Now, not only did she bring trouble upon herself, but she had also implicated him. She was the one who told the head of the family. Otherwise, how would the old ancestor know about this? Ning Qi'er said through gritted teeth. Didn't I tell you that our ancestor is in the godly mainland? There were so many people who attended the auction that day. Do you think this matter won't spread? Ning Haoran said speechlessly. He was really annoyed with his sister. A woman's jealousy was really inexplicable. Actually, thinking about it carefully, Lung Ruoxue had not done anything too overboard to Ning Qi. However, Ning Qi just did not like her. She did not even listen to his advice, and went against her time and time again. Now she was fine, but they had been punished. What do we do now? Brother, you have to think of something. I don't want to wash clothes anymore. Ning Qi said gloomily. She knew that Ning Fei was messing with her on purpose. Otherwise, how could there be so many clothes to wash? She had been washing clothes every day for the past few days, and now she felt like puking when she saw dirty clothes. If she continued to wash, she would go crazy. Ai. Now, we can only start with Lung Ruoxue. She has the Grand Ancestor's personal token, so letting us go is just a matter of a word from her. Why don't we go and beg her? Ning Haoran said after thinking for a while. What? He still had to go and beg that woman? No. I don't want to. When Ning Qi heard her brother's suggestion, she almost vomited blood in anger. After all, she had always felt that Lung Ruoxue was the one who had caused them to be punished. Now they still had to go and beg that woman for mercy. This was something that she could not accept no matter what. Then you have a way? If you don't beg her, you can stay in the godly mainland and wash clothes for the rest of your life. Let's see if anyone in the main family still remembers you. Ning Haoran coldly reminded. There were many people in a big family. Someone could rise to the top position at any time, and someone could fall like a meteor in an instant. Therefore, if he wanted to have a respected position in the family, he couldn't relax his vigilance for a moment. Ning Qi hesitated. Although she knew that her brother's words were not unreasonable, she just could not accept it. You what? If you have a good idea, we won't go and beg her. If you don't, then come with me to find her. Ning Haoran rolled his eyes at Ning Qi. Then he opened the door and went to look for Lung Ruoxue. Brother, wait for me, I'll go with you. Although Ning Qi was not willing to bow down to Lung Ruoxue, she knew that her brother's suggestion was correct. So, she could only brace herself and follow. The two of them came to the third floor and found the door to Lung Ruoxue's room. Just as they were about to knock on the door, it opened and Fengde walked out. When he saw the two siblings, he asked in confusion. What are you guys doing here? My lady is cultivating. Can you ask Miss Lung to stop for a while? We have something to discuss with her. Ning Haoran asked politely. What do you think? Fengde was speechless. He already said that his miss was cultivating, but he still wanted her to stop and see them. What kind of people were they? Fengde let them in. Master Ning said after hearing the voice. You guys can go in. Fengde stepped aside and let the Ning siblings in. The Ning siblings walked into the living room and looked around, but they did not see Lung Ruoxue. Where's Lung Ruoxue? She's the one we're here to see. Ning Qi asked in dissatisfaction. Are you deaf? Didn't I say that my family's young miss is currently cultivating? Fengde said unhappily. If Master Ning hadn't let them in, he wouldn't have let the brother and sister in. We only want to see Lung Ruoxue. Ning Qi was a little angry. It's the same if you tell me anything. Master Ning said indifferently, his shrewd eyes constantly sizing up his two grandsons. Can an ugly monster like you make the decision? The person we want to see is Lung Ruoxue. Hurry up and ask her to come out. Ning Qi said arrogantly. When Master Ning heard Ning Qi's words, he was depressed. He was actually scolded by Ning Qi again. How preposterous. However, before he could say anything, Fengde spoke first. Miss Ning, if you have something to say, just say it. If you have anything to say, just fart. Our miss really doesn't have time to see you. When Fengde heard this, he was also angry and said impolitely. Hee hee, you two little fellows, if I'm not wrong, you're here to ask this little girl for help, right? At this moment, the great elder asked with a smile. Yes, we do have a favor to ask. Ning Haoran said respectfully. He already knew the identity of the person in front of him, so he did not dare to be presumptuous. Is this the attitude you have when you're asking for help? Fengde rolled his eyes at Ning Qi and said unhappily. Chapter 1144. The God of Plagues Purpose 1. What did I do? Ning Qi raised her head, not feeling like she had done anything wrong. I'm sorry, this sister of mine has been pampered since she was young. Please don't take it to heart. Ning Haoran quickly said. He even glared at his sister, signaling her to shut up. They were here to ask for a favor, so they should lower their status and not act like Ning Qi'er. Therefore he did not want his sister to say anything more, or else she would ruin the whole thing. What if we haggle over it? Fengde asked with a smirk. Well. Ning Haoran didn't know how to continue. It was the first time he had met someone as direct as Fengde. If it were anyone else who heard him say that, they would say, I won't argue with her. Unfortunately, these people didn't play by the rules, so he didn't know how to answer. Ehe. Fengde kid, don't be angry, let's hear their intentions first. The great elder laughed again. Actually, he mainly wanted to hear what this pair of siblings would say. Moreover, old man Ning was also here, so these two siblings wouldn't be able to play any tricks. If you have something to say, then say it. Although Miss isn't here, as long as it's not a big deal, we can make the decision. Fengde said with a smile. It's like this. A few days ago, because of what my insensible sister said, we were punished by the family. So, I would like to ask Miss Lung to help us plead for mercy. I can guarantee that this kind of thing will never happen again in the future. Ning Haoran thought for a while, and then said, Young Master Ning, it's not good for my young lady to meddle in your Ning family's affairs. You've asked the wrong person for help. Fengde stole a glance at Master Ning and said calmly, Why can't I interfere? Doesn't she have the personal token of my ancestor? Ning Qi'er quickly said, So what? Even if my family's young miss has your ancestor's token in her hands, she can't casually abuse it. Otherwise, if your family's old ancestor finds out, he will blame my family's young miss. It's better for you to go and ask your ancestor for help. Fengde rejected without even thinking, but he couldn't help but secretly complain in his heart. What did he do earlier? Previously, they had caused trouble for his young miss, and now that something had happened, they knew to come and beg his young miss. Did they think that they had nothing better to do? That they had to serve the siblings at any time? If we can find the old ancestor, would we still need to come and beg Lung Ruoxue? Ning Qi'er couldn't help but say. The old ancestor had always appeared and disappeared like a ghost. Who knew where he was now? Then it's no use for you to come to my young miss now. My family's young miss is cultivating. It's impossible for her to end her cultivation for you and your sister. Fengde asked with a smile. Then what do we do? Ning Qi'er was a little unhappy. From her point of view, Lung Ruoxue did not want to help at all. That was why she let her servant block her. Otherwise, what was wrong with cultivating? Can't you stop cultivating for a while? Ehe. This matter is easy to handle, let's do it this way. I'll go and tell Ning Fei not to punish you for the time being. However, I can't guarantee whether the Nings will take back this order or not. However, you must perform well during this period or else. First Elder said, but he only finished half of his words. First Elder, don't worry. We siblings will definitely perform well. Ning Haoran quickly said. With the help of the First Elder of the Craftsmen's Guild, Ning Fei would not dare to not give them face. In this way, they would not have to do those heavy work. Thinking of this, he was relieved. Continue, reading on myb0xn0vel.com. Do your words work? Would Ning Fei listen to you? Ning Qi'er questioned. She didn't know the Great Elder's identity, so she didn't think he had such ability. Qi'er, shut up. When Ning Haoran heard Ning Qi'er's words, he broke out in a cold sweat. He was so regretful that he wanted to kill himself. This sister of his was too insensible. Someone was willing to plead for them, but she still had such an attitude. Moreover, the other party was the Great Elder of the Craftsmen's main guild. Moreover, she was a good friend of the old ancestor, so how could they tolerate her questioning? If she refused to help in a fit of anger, they would have no place to cry even if they wanted to. With that in mind, Ning Haoran bowed deeply to the Great Elder and said apologetically, Great Elder, my little sister is insensible. Please don't hold it against her. I won't argue with an insensible little guy. The First Elder disapprovingly said, Damn it, who are you calling insensible? When Ning Qi'er heard the First Elder say these three words, she was a little angry. Ning Haoran's head hurt. Seeing Ningqi, like this, he deeply felt that it was a mistake to bring her along to the divine mainland. Otherwise, they wouldn't have caused so much trouble. Great Elder, you want to be a good person, but unfortunately he doesn't appreciate it. Fengde said with a hint of ridicule. Yup. I wanted to ask Ning Fei to stop punishing them for the sake of our friendship with their ancestors. Who knew? The Great Elder's face was also filled with regret, and he couldn't even continue. Great Elder, I apologize to you on behalf of Qi, please don't be angry. Ning Haoran quickly said. Ning family boy, you're a sensible one, but you're not the one looking down on me. I won't accept your apology, Sai. Forget it, you guys should go back. I heard from Ning Fei that you two are sick. Go back and have a good rest, and go back to the main residence to work tomorrow. The first elder said with a sigh. His face was filled with disappointment. Great Elder. Hearing the Great Elder's words, Ning Haoran became anxious. He grabbed Ning Qie's arm and pressed her to the ground, ordering, hurry up and apologize to the Grand Elder. Ning Qi had always been concerned about her reputation, but now that Ning Haoran had treated her like this in front of outsiders, she couldn't accept it. So she yelled at the top of her voice, Brother, I'm your sister. How can you do this to me? Why do I have to apologize to him? What did I do wrong? What did you do wrong? How dare you be so rude to the Great Elder? What else do you want? Ning Haoran said in a low voice. Chapter 1145. The God of Plague's Purpose, too. What Great Elder? He was just a servant of Lung Ruoxia's family. What was so great about him? He even said that he would help us plead for mercy. Humph. How could Ning Fei listen to him? Who does he think he is? Ningqi, said disapprovingly. Ha ha. Hearing Ning Qie's words, Fengde and the others couldn't help but laugh wildly. Ning Haoran's face turned black and white, and he was so angry that he was trembling. First Elder, I only found out today that you're my family's young Miss Servant. After laughing, Fengde looked at the depressed First Elder and chuckled. Yup. I only found out about it today. The Great Elder was speechless. He really didn't know what to say to this Ning Qi. Say, the daughters of the Ning family. It was really a headache. When Master Ning heard Ning Qie's words, his expression was not very good either, because he felt that his face had been completely lost by this unfilial grandson. Especially when he saw the First Elder's resentful expression. He was even angrier. Suddenly, a crisp sound was heard. Ning Qie's beautiful face was slapped, and the one who hit her was naturally Ning Haoran. After Ning Qi was hit, half of her face immediately swelled up. She even looked at her brother in disbelief. After a while she said, Brother, you actually hit me? Cheer, we've all spoiled you. Ning Haoran said angrily. When he heard Ning Qie's words, there was a moment when he was dumbfounded. He was scared to death. He was afraid that his life would be ruined because of Ning Qie's rudeness. That was why he couldn't help but hit Ning Qie. I say, noble son Ning, if you want to teach your sister a lesson, can you please go back to your room? We're not interested in admiring it. Fengde didn't want to get involved in the grudges between the siblings, in case Ning Qie blamed them for this matter. So he very implicitly asked them to leave. I'm sorry, I'll take Qie back first. I'll come and ask for your forgiveness another day. Ning Haoran finished speaking, then picked up Ning Qi from the ground and dragged her away. After the Ning siblings left, the big elder didn't say a word for a long time. Fengde and the others saw this and didn't disturb him. However, Master Ning couldn't stand it when he saw the big elder's face. I say, old man, if you're angry, go and teach Ning Qie a lesson. I'm so scared of you now. Master Ning said with a frightened look. He was afraid of being slaughtered. He was afraid that this old thing would blame him for this matter. Then wouldn't he have to bleed a lot again? No. This definitely cannot happen. How would I dare to teach the young lady of the Ning family a lesson? I'm just a servant. The great elder glanced at Master Ning and ridiculed him. I didn't say that. Every injustice has its perpetrator, and every debt has its debtor. You can go find whoever said that. Master Ning said irresponsibly. Ning Qie is your descendant, right? The first elder asked indifferently. Continue reading on MYB0XN0VL. So what if I am? She's her, and me. Don't mix them up. Besides, she only has half of our Ning family's bloodline. You can go and get the other half from someone else. Master Ning said shamelessly like a wife. I don't care, her surname is Ning. Don't even think about getting away with it. I'll calculate how much compensation you owe me. The great elder said with a smirk. After he finished, he even deliberately counted with his fingers, making Master Ning gnash his teeth in hatred. After a while, the great elder finished calculating and said to Master Ning with a smile, Old man Ning, for the sake of our many years of friendship, I won't ask you for more. Just give me 1 million top-grade crystals, and some blacksmithing materials. Why don't you just rob someone? I'm telling you, I don't have any money. How about I give you Ning Qi? And I'll give you Ning Haoran as a partner. What do you think? Although Master Ning's tone was negotiable, everyone knew that there was no room for discussion. I don't want it. Don't always stuff your Ning family's trash to me, okay? I don't have the money to support them. The great elder said with a look of disdain. In his heart, he despised Master Ning for being so stingy. You don't have to take care of them. Let them be your servants and earn money to support themselves. Master Ning suggested. I don't have money either. If I don't look at your big family and business, I can't afford to keep a servant. The great elder said in a poor voice. Watching the two old men go back and forth, Fengda and the others couldn't stand it anymore. They simply left the living room, leaving the two of them to play. After Ning Haoran dragged Ning Qi, back to her room, he threw her on the floor roughly and gave her a few slaps. Then he said fiercely, Do you know who you were talking to just now? Even if you're tired of living, don't drag me down with you. He's just a servant. You actually hit me for the sake of an outsider. I will definitely tell Mother when I return to the divine realm. Ning Qi threatened. The two of them had the same father and mother, and her mother had always doted on her, and was her biggest backer. It's useless no matter who you tell. The clan head won't let you off for offending the first elder. Ning Haoran said coldly. She was really a woman with long hair but short knowledge. The ancestor had so many descendants. How could he care about them? They had offended the great elder of the Craftsmen's Guild. He would not be surprised if the ancestor handed them over to the great elder to deal with. What great elder? He's just a dog of Lung Ruoxia's family. Ning Qi, didn't know the great elder's identity, so she didn't think much of it. Shut up. What do you mean by Lung Ruoxia's dog? He's the great elder of the Craftsmen's Guild, and our old ancestor's best friend. Ning Haoran growled in a low voice. Ow. How is this possible? How could he be the head elder of the Craftsmen's Guild? Ning Qi's face was filled with disbelief. Why was the great elder of the Craftsmen's Guild here in the Divine Land instead of the Divine Realm? If he really was, then what should she do? At this moment, she also knew that things were not good. No wonder her brother was so angry. What should she do? Why is it impossible? Don't tell me you didn't recognize him? Ning Haoran was speechless. He had only recognized the great elder that day at the auction. He had thought that Ning Qi, would recognize him as well, but who knew that this incompetent sister of his would not recognize him at all, and even offended the great elder. Just thinking about it gave him a headache. Chapter 1146. The God of Plagues Purpose 3. I've only met the Armament Guild headquarters great elder once, and it was when I was very young. How could I remember? Ning Qi said, feeling wronged. In her heart, she blamed her brother. If her brother had told her about this earlier, she would not have dared to scold the first elder. You pig brain. Ning Haoran cursed in exasperation. The great elder had said that he would plead for them, but it was a pity that it had been ruined by this disappointing sister. Now the great elder would probably not care about them anymore. Brother, what should they do now? I really don't know his identity. Otherwise, I wouldn't dare to say this. Ning Qi was a little scared. She didn't care about the pain on her face and held Ning Haoran's arm tightly. You're asking me, but who should I ask? The only thing we can do now is to coax the elder. If he is willing to plead for us, the ancestor might spare us. Ning Haoran said after thinking for a while. Don't we still have Lung Ruoxue? Ning Qi reminded. He's cultivating, why would he care about us? Our biggest hope now is the Great Elder. Ning Haoran said rationally. But I just offended the Great Elder. Ning Qi said in a low voice. You know about it too? You have to apologize to me tomorrow. You have to be sincere and not throw a tantrum. Otherwise, we'll stay in the godly mainland for the rest of our lives. Ning Haoran warned. Why don't you go now? Ning Qi could not help but ask. Are you an idiot? He was just offended by you, and now he wants to see us? Ning Haoran said unhappily. He used to think that his sister was quite smart, but now he realized that she was actually an idiot. He had even hoped that Ning Qi could help him, but now it seemed that she had only made things worse. If he had not brought her to the divine mainland, perhaps things would not have ended up like this. He had not even started to do anything. It was already difficult for him to take a single step. When he thought of this, he was really depressed. Oh, Ning Qi nodded and became more honest. The next morning, the Ning siblings, who had not slept for the entire night, came to Lung Ruoxue's residence early in the morning. However, the two of them were denied entrance. However, they did not give up. They continued to guard Lung Ruoxue and the other's door, unwilling to leave. Continue, reading on MYB0XN0VL. It wasn't until nighttime that the Great Elder couldn't bear to let them in, so he let Fengde in. In the living room, the Great Elder sat on the main seat and looked down at Ning Qi, who was kneeling in front of him and asking for forgiveness. He pretended to be puzzled and asked, Miss Ning, why are you so polite the moment you come in? Get up quickly, I can't stand it as a servant. Great Elder, I didn't know your identity. Please forgive me if I've offended you. Ning Qi's beautiful eyes were filled with tears as she begged pitifully. For today's apology, the two of them had rehearsed the entire night last night, and had even thought of many excuses to move the Great Elder. What do you mean by forgive me? You're just a young man. It's nothing to have a bad temper, but, the Great Elder said disapprovingly, but he suddenly changed the topic and did not continue. Suddenly, the hearts of the two siblings were raised high. However, you have to change your temper. It's not right to scold people. Even if you don't know my identity, you should still respect the elderly. The first elder said with a smile. I know I was wrong. Please forgive me, Great Elder. Ning Qi's attitude was very sincere, and after knowing the Great Elder's identity, she did not dare to be presumptuous. I'll forgive you, but if you don't change your temper, something bad will happen to you sooner or later. The first elder spoke in a concerned manner as an elder. Thank you, Great Elder. I will change. Ning Qi said through gritted teeth. It's good that you've changed. Since you've learned your lesson, I won't hold it against you for what happened yesterday. The first elder said magnanimously. Thank you, Great Elder. Ning Qi finally heaved a sigh of relief. There's no need to thank me. I'm not someone who would be too calculative with a junior. If there's nothing else, you can go back. The Grand Elder began to ask him to leave. Great Elder, you promised yesterday that you would intercede on our behalf. Ning Qi couldn't help but remind the first elder when she saw that he didn't mention it. Oh, this matter. Don't worry, I'll keep my promise. The Great Elder promised. Thank you, Great Elder. We will take our leave first. Ning Haoran was relieved after getting the first elder's promise. He left with Ning Qi. After the Ning siblings left, Fengde looked at the Great Elder with a strange expression. He thought to himself, why is this old man so easy to talk to today? This didn't seem like his style. Although he didn't know what the Great Elder was up to, he knew that this matter definitely wasn't that simple. The Ning siblings probably wouldn't be able to escape the hands of these two old foxes. It's getting late. I'm going back to my room to rest. The Great Elder was frightened by Fengde's scrutinizing and probing gaze, so he stood up and slipped away. With the promise of the Great Elder, Ning Fei came to the Ning family's house the next morning and told them that they didn't need to go to the main house anymore. The Ning siblings were completely relieved after hearing this. Ning Haoran's room. Ning Qi looked at Ning Haoran and said smugly, Big brother, we finally don't have to do the work of those servants anymore. In fact, what she wanted to say was that it was all thanks to her. And cheer, you can't mess around anymore. Ning Haoran was too lazy to expose his sister's smugness. However, he still had to warn them. Besides, they were only fine for the time being. After all, the punishment from the master had not been withdrawn yet. Therefore, he could not let his guard down. I know, I will control my temper. Ning Qier promised. In fact, she did not know if she could control her temper. Ever since the Ning siblings had been taught a lesson, they had become much more low-key. They were also particularly enthusiastic when they saw Fengda and the others, especially Ning Qi. In order to atone for her mistake, she had been trying her best to get close to Lu Tao and Cui Zhu, both openly and secretly, to find out about Lung Ruoxia's situation. Ning Haoran, on the other hand, often appeared in front of the Great Elder, trying to please him in all ways, which annoyed the Great Elder. Chapter 1147. The God of Plagues Purpose 4. In the living room. The Great Elder looked at Master Ning with resentment and said, "Old man Ning, hurry up and settle your family's matters. I don't want to stay here any longer. Hehe. I thought you were enjoying that unfilial grandson's flattery." Master Ning said with an evil smile, "Enjoy my ass. If it wasn't for you, I would have sent him flying with a kick." The first elder said, somewhat speechless. If it was the little girl who was trying to please him, he might still enjoy it, but it was better to forget about the Ning siblings. He did not know when the young woman would come out of her room. He even missed her a little. "You can kick me if you want to. You don't have to give me face." Master Ning said unappreciatingly. Because of Ning Haoran and his sister, he had been plundered by this old man a lot. Once he thought of this, he could no longer be close to the two. "I'm just afraid of ruining your plan, not giving you face. But, when do you plan to make your move? I'm afraid that little girl can't wait any longer. Otherwise, she wouldn't have closed her door in her room." The Great Elder could not help but ask. Shui had originally planned to leave this place and find a quiet place to cultivate in seclusion. However, she had been hiding in her room from time to time, and had not come out. "I also want it to end quickly, but the time isn't right," Master Ning said helplessly. He was fishing. However, the fish did not bite the hook. He was also anxious. "Then let's wait. I'm not in a hurry to leave now." Suddenly, Lung Ruoxia's voice entered their ears. The two of them looked up and couldn't help but reveal a surprised expression as they said in unison, "Little girl, you finally come out. Godfather, Great Elder, I just came out to tell you that I plan to cultivate in seclusion here. So, you can have fun. I'm not in a hurry to leave." Lung Ruoxia chuckled. She had been in closed-door cultivation for the past few days, and the results were not bad. She could feel that she was about to break through soon, which was why she came out to tell them so that they wouldn't worry. "All right, little Shui, you can go into seclusion in peace. With your godfather here, no one will dare to disturb you," Master Ning promised. "Then I'll thank Godfather first." "Oh right, this is your token. I'll return it to its owner." After Lung Ruoxia finished speaking, she took out Master Ning's token from her bracelet and returned it to him. After that, Lung Ruoxia officially went into closed-door cultivation. Fengda and the rest rarely left the inn. They would have someone guard outside Lung Ruoxia's room every day to prevent anyone from disturbing their miss. In reality, they were just putting on an act. After all, Miss was not really in her room. However, when the Ning siblings saw that Lung Ruoxia had not come out after a long time, they could not help but feel a little anxious. Continue reading on MYB0X in 0VL. A month later. The Ning siblings had been waiting for her for a long time. Fengda and the others couldn't help but laugh secretly when they saw them come to ask when their miss would come out of seclusion every day. But they would return in disappointment every time. Ning Haoran's room. Ning Qi looked at her brother with dissatisfaction and couldn't help but shout, "Brother, when can we leave this place?" She didn't want to stay here any longer. Although they didn't have to do heavy work anymore, they were forbidden from leaving the inn. To put it bluntly, they were imprisoned. We have to wait for Lung Ruoxue to come out of her closed-door cultivation. She has ancestors' token in her hand. If we want to be exempted from punishment, she must be the one. Ning Haoran said helplessly. Right now he could deeply feel the importance of the token. Therefore he was even more eager to get it. Even if it was only a temporary possession, he still wanted it. Don't we still have our ancestor? That doesn't mean that Lung Ruoxue is the only one who can do it. Ning Qier said unhappily. She didn't like to place her hopes of being exempted on the woman she hated. It didn't feel good. You can find our ancestor? Even if you can find it, the ancestor will definitely show mercy and spare us. Ning Haoran retorted. To him, it was more unreliable to look for the old ancestor than Lung Ruoxue. After all, the old ancestor's identity and status were there for all to see. Why would he care about the life and death of two juniors? However, Lung Ruoxue was different. In his eyes, he and Lung Ruoxue were people who could speak. Ning Qier was speechless. She really couldn't find the old ancestor. Who knew that the old ancestor, who appeared and disappeared like a ghost, had run to that corner? Have some patience and wait. Ning Haoran said helplessly. At this moment, Lung Ruoxue had been in closed-door cultivation in the purple bamboo house. She had cut off all contact with the outside world, and even Qingju could not wake her up. Hence, she had no idea about the Ning siblings' punishment or their expectations. Another month passed. Lung Ruoxue still showed no signs of coming out of her closed-door cultivation. After Fengda and the rest had arranged everything, they also chose to go into closed-door cultivation temporarily. After all, there were Master Ning and the First Elder here, so safety was definitely not a problem. After everyone had gone into seclusion, the originally lively living room was often left with only 5 men sitting there. In the living room, the First Elder, Master Ning, Mo Yen Lu Feng, and Lu Yen were all sitting there, looking at each other in boredom. After a long while, the Great Elder couldn't help but say, I say, Old Man Ning, how long do you plan on fishing for this fish? It's been 2 months. Why haven't I seen the fish take the bait yet? What's the hurry? Hasn't Shui or been in closed-door cultivation all this time? Master Ning said disapprovingly, sigh. After those little guys went into seclusion, the living room suddenly became quiet. This made him, who was used to the liveliness, a little uncomfortable and bored. The Great Elder spoke the truth. He was a little tired of seeing these people every day. However, it was fortunate that Lu Feng and the others didn't know how to read minds. Otherwise, they would be depressed to death. Yup. I'm also quite bored. Qiu Qiu and Bao Bao, those 2 disloyal little guys, didn't even say that they would come out to accompany us. Master Ning complained. The little girl was in seclusion, and the 2 little things didn't come out either. He felt so miserable now. Chapter 1148. The God of Plagues Purpose 5. Those 2 little fellows are guarding their master. When the little girl comes out, they will come out. The First Elder said. I wonder when they'll come out. Master Ning said gloomily. There was no concept of time for closed-door cultivation. It could be long or short, so he was not sure now. Suddenly, a strong pressure appeared around the inn, and the 5 people in the room immediately became alert. You 3 stay here, I'll go out with the old man to take a look. Master Ning made a prompt decision. Yes. Mo Yen and the others nodded, and then Master Ning and the First Elder turned into a stream of light. Whoosh! Disappeared in an instant. Out of the inn, the 2 of them floated in the air, and looked at the other people who were also standing in the air not far away. The First Elder and Master Ning looked at each other, and suddenly understood. Great Elder, long time no see. A person on the other side said with a faint smile. Yup. Long time no see, may I know what brings you here, One Family Head? The First Elder played dumb. At the same time he stole a glance at Master Ning. It seemed that this old man from the One Family did not recognize Old Man Ning either. I came to the Divine Mainland for a walk. I heard that my 2 unfilial grandsons and granddaughters are in the Ning family's divine realm, so I came to see them. The head of the One Family smiled. Oh, then why didn't you go in to find them, and instead released your pressure outside? One Family Head, This is the divine continent, not many people can withstand your pressure. Moreover, my granddaughter and the others are all in closed-door cultivation. If your pressure caused them to go into chi deviation, can you bear the responsibility? The great elder questioned with a displeased look on his face. He was secretly lamenting in his heart. It was said so nicely. This old god of plagues was clearly here to provoke them. However, the little girl and the others could not be disturbed at this time. Therefore, even if they had to fall out with each other, he could not let this god of plagues show off here. I'm really sorry. I didn't know that your granddaughter and the others were in closed-door cultivation. When did you have a granddaughter? The head of the Wen family looked apologetic and asked in surprise. It's none of your business. If you want to see your grandson and granddaughter, then quickly go in. They're in the VIP room on the 5th floor. The great elder urged him impatiently. Great elder, why are you still so rude? I'm just concerned about you. The head of the Wen family said with a face full of grievance, as if the first elder had done something that was criticized by thousands of people. I'm a rough man, it's right to be rude. The great elder rolled his eyes. Let's go. The Wen family had looked at the grand elder and said to his subordinate. Although he was a little angry, he did not want to offend the grand elder of the Craftsmen's Guild. So he brought his subordinate and descended from the sky, walking straight into the inn. Continue, reading on MYB0XN0VEL. After that, Master Ning and First Elder also returned to the inn. In the living room, the Great Elder looked thoughtful and kept peeking at Master Ning. Old thing, you're looking at me again? Master Ning said uneasily. What's wrong with looking? You're afraid of looking at it. The First Elder teased with a smirk. Are you going to say that you didn't expect the god of plague to come? Master Ning understood. Hee. You're getting smarter, old man. The Great Elder was not stingy with his praise. Smart my ass, isn't it obvious? Master Ning was speechless. Sometimes he really admired this old man's ability to play dumb. I say, old man Ning, this god of plague is planning to interfere in your Ning family's family affairs. Don't let him off easily. First Elder reminded. He couldn't beat the god of plagues, but old man Ning could. It would be a waste not to use this ready-made goon. Do you have a grudge? Master Ning winked and asked with an ambiguous look. No, I just don't like him. Besides, don't forget that your precious goddaughter has a grudge against the Wen family. First Elder warned. With me here, I'd like to see who dares to touch that little girl. Master Ning's eyes were wide open as he said fiercely. It's always better to be safe than sorry. If the Wen family is behind this, you won't be able to guard against them. The First Elder was a little worried. In the divinity, the Wen family did not have a good reputation because they preferred to use unscrupulous means in their actions. Hence, he was truly worried about the safety of that little girl. After all, Lung Ruoxue and the others were too weak now, and it was impossible for old man Ning to stay by their side and protect them forever. You want me to make the first move? Master Ning asked in a low voice. After all, the Wen family was one of the 8 great divine regions, and the 8 great divine regions had in-laws. Therefore, it was not easy to get rid of the Wen family. That's not necessarily the case, but when it's time to act. Thousand creations, don't be soft-hearted. First Elder suggested. Yes, don't worry. I know what to do. Since I've taken that little girl as my goddaughter, I won't let anyone bully her. Master Ning promised. Master, did Master Wen really come just to see Ning Haoran and Ning Chier? Mo Yen, who had been listening by the side, asked suspiciously. How could that be? I suspect he also came for old man Ning's token. After all, in the eyes of outsiders, that token is in the hands of the little girl. The Great Elder thought for a moment before he spoke very cautiously. He had told her that the sign was a big problem. Now trouble had come. Fortunately, they were here. The god of plagues did not dare to act rashly. Otherwise, the little girl would be in danger. He dared? Is my Ning family's thing something he can dream of? Knowing that it was possible, Master Ning couldn't help but be a little angry. However, he was more angry at Ning Haoran and his sister for being ungrateful. The Ning family had raised them for so many years, but they had become ungrateful wolves. How preposterous. Don't be angry. This is just my guess. Maybe she really just came to see her grandson and granddaughter. The great elder quickly consoled him. Although the possibility of them coming for the token was very high, they didn't need to be so paranoid without any evidence. However, it was always right to be cautious. After all, the little girl and the others were in seclusion and they couldn't be disturbed. You should lie to a child, Master Ning said unhappily. He didn't just know the god of plagues today. How could the old god of plagues be willing to do something without any benefits? Calm down, the first elder said with a smile. At the same time, in Ning Haoran's room, the head of the Wen family was sitting on a chair with a dark expression, not even looking at the Ning siblings who were standing carefully beside him. Grandpa, say something. After a while, Ning Qier, who couldn't stand the oppressive atmosphere, said coquettishly, "What do you want me to say? Qier, how did your mother educate you? You've really disappointed me." The Wen family's head sighed softly and said with a face full of disappointment. He had married his most beloved daughter to the Ning family, but in the end, the children that his daughter had given birth to were so disappointing. In this way, all his efforts over the years had been in vain. "Grandfather, it's all Lung Ruoxia's fault. If it wasn't for her, my brother and I wouldn't have been punished by the family." Ning Qi had forgotten the pain after her scar healed. The Ning family's punishment order had not been revoked yet. She then pushed all the blame for her suffering onto Lung Ruoxia. "You still dare to say that? If not for your words, how could the Ning family have punished you?" The head of the Wen family said angrily, "Humph. Did they really think that he didn't know anything? Everything the siblings did in the Divine Mainland was within his control. So Ning Qier's words couldn't fool him." "Grampy." Ning Qi wanted to continue acting coquettishly. However, the Wen family head did not fall for her tricks. "Shut up. I don't want to hear you talk now," the Wen family head said coldly. To him, descendants who were of no use were useless. In his eyes, Ning Qi was already equivalent to a piece of trash. "Randar, what's your plan?" The head of the Wen family turned his head and asked Ning Haoran kindly. His attitude towards Ning Qi and Ning Haoran now was absolutely different. "I want to continue befriending Lung Ruoxia and the others. However, they have all gone into closed-door cultivation," Ning Haoran said gloomily. It had been 2 months and he had not seen Lung Ruoxia. He did not know how long he would have to wait. Chapter 1149. Forbidden from spectating, rank up 1. "Oh, did you find out about her relationship with Old Man Ning?" the Wen family had asked with concern. "Grandpa, that woman said that she took her mother's surname. I'm guessing that she might be the ancestor's illegitimate daughter." Ning Qi was not willing to be ignored and quickly said, "Qier, don't talk nonsense without evidence." Ning Haoran scolded loudly. "Brother, how am I talking nonsense? Isn't it all over Ning City now?" Ning Qier pouted her red lips and said unhappily, "An illegitimate daughter? With that old man's disposition, it's not impossible." The Wen family's master muttered to himself for a moment before he spoke slowly. Actually, the reason why he thought this way was because the great elder of the Craftsmen's Guild had said that Lung Ruoxia was his god-granddaughter. However, what he couldn't understand was that if Lung Ruoxia was Old Man Ning's illegitimate daughter, why would Old Man Ning let his own daughter be the great elder's god-granddaughter? Wasn't this a difference in seniority? "Grandfather, this?" Ning Haoran was speechless. How could his grandfather take such nonsense seriously? Could it be that the old ancestor had a past record in this area? "Ranner, in your eyes Old Man Ning is high and mighty, unattainable, but in my eyes he's just an ordinary old man. When he was young he was much more flirtatious than he is now, but now his cultivation is higher, and he's older, so his need for women is less. However, he has the most children in our generation. You should know this." The head of the Wen family said with a hint of jealousy. "Yes." Ning Haoran nodded. Of course he knew that. Otherwise, the Ning family would not have so many people. However, just keep this matter in your hearts. If this matter were to come out of your mouths, that old thing would not be happy. Master Wen reminded. After his words, he further confirmed the relationship between Lung Ruoxue and Master Ning. Grandfather, this matter is no longer a secret in Ning City. Ning Qie reminded. Then you're not allowed to talk nonsense, especially you Qi. Watch your mouth, or else trouble will come from it. The Wen family head said worriedly. Yes, Grandpa. Ning Qie replied obediently. As for whether she could do it, only God knew. Grandpa, when are you taking us out of here? Ning Qie asked again, looking at her grandfather with anticipation. I don't intend to take you away. I'm only here to see you today. The Wen family head said honestly. What? Grandfather, I want to leave this place. I don't want to stay here anymore. When Ning Qie heard this, she immediately started to plead in a low voice. Continue reading on MYB0XN0VEL. Come Qie, grandfather is an outsider after all. Your punishment was given by the Ning family, so how could I take you away without permission? If old man Ning were to find out, I'm afraid he would be even more dissatisfied with you. The Wen family had explained patiently. But Ning Qie refused to give up and wanted to continue begging. However, she was interrupted by Master Wen with a wave of his hand. Qie, you should be more sensible now that you're an adult. So you have to help your brother as much as possible and don't cause him any more trouble. And that Lung Ruoxue, not only are you not allowed to be rude to her, you have to fight to be good friends with her. The head of the Wen family warned. Of the two children, he was most worried about Ning Qie. Yes, Ning Qie nodded unwillingly. In fact, she was still very resistant to the idea of becoming friends with Lung Ruoxue. However, she had seen many such things in the family, so it was not completely unacceptable to her. Besides, although she was willful, she was not stupid. She was very clear that if she insisted on doing things her own way and did not follow Grampy's instructions, her status in the family and the Wen family would definitely plummet. This was not what she wanted. Therefore, she could only compromise. Good girl. Ranner, you guys can stay in the godly mainland for now. Remember, don't act rashly. The head of the Wen family reminded him before he stood up and left Ning Haoren's room. After the Wen family had left the room, he went straight to the third floor. The purpose of his visit was naturally to have a chat with the first elder. In the living room, the first elder, Master Ning, Mo Yen Lufeng, and Lu Yual looked at Master Wen, and none of them spoke. Grand Elder, can I have a word with you in private? After a long while, the Wen family had spoke indifferently. There's no need to talk alone. Don't be afraid. They're not outsiders, so they won't leak the contents of our conversation. The first elder promised with a serious expression. Oh, actually, I have something to ask you, Grand Elder. The head of the Wen family said after a pause. I don't dare to ask for advice. If you have something to say, just say it. Don't waste everyone's time. The great elder reminded. In fact, he also had something to ask this old pestilence. We haven't seen each other for so many years, but the great elder is still so direct. The head of the Wen family teased. Yup. I'm a rough person. If you want me to be as erudite as you, I really can't stand it. The great elder said proudly. Obviously, he took the old god of plague's words as a compliment. First elder, I've heard some things, so I want to confirm it with you. The head of the Wen family changed the topic. Oh, then what do you want to confirm? As long as I know, I will tell you the truth. The first elder said generously. I heard that Master Ning has an illegitimate daughter. The head of the Wen family did not beat around the bush and asked directly. Who did you hear this from? The great elder's forehead was full of black lines, and he looked at Master Ning again before asking. This matter is no longer a secret in Ning City. I heard about it the moment I entered Ning City. The Wen family had said very honestly. Of course, he couldn't say that it was Ning Qie who told him about this. Otherwise, the old man of the Ning family would make things difficult for the Qie siblings. I've been in Ning City for quite some time. Why haven't I heard of it? The great elder was puzzled. Was this considered a case of there's no smoke without fire? However, who was the one who started this wind? In reality, they had not heard of this matter mainly because they rarely left the inn. Furthermore, no one dared to gossip in their ears. After all, the rumors were about the master of the main family. Who would dare to gossip in front of Lung Ruoxia and the others? Wasn't that courting death? Therefore, those who knew about this matter naturally kept it a secret. Chapter 1150. Forbidden from spectating, rank up 2. I guess no one dares to say it in front of you. By the way, where is Master Ning now? The Wen family head asked again. I don't know where old man Ning is, but I can tell you for sure that he doesn't have any illegitimate daughter, so don't take those rumors seriously. The great elder looked at Master Ning and said with a smile. Then why is his token in the hands of a woman? Did something happen to him? The head of the Wen family guessed with a puzzled look. Old god of plague. If old man Ning were to hear this, aren't you afraid he'd beat you up? The grand elder asked curiously. Unless you sell me out, there's no way, hell no. The head of the Wen family said confidently. He was certain that the people present would not reveal his words to old man Ning, unless they really wanted to shed all pretenses of cordiality with him. If I tell you that even if we don't say anything, he will know, would you believe me? The great elder asked in a low voice. He peeked at Master Ning's face, which was getting darker and darker, and laughed in his heart. How is that possible? If he knows about our conversation today, then it's you who said it. The head of the Wen family said with certainty. Old god of plagues, don't you wrongly accuse me. I'll tell you the truth, even if we don't say anything, old man Ning already knows what we've said today. The first elder said with a face full of smiles. Could it be that he has arranged for spies? The head of the Wen family guessed. Yes, you're right. Do you see him? He's old man Ning's spy. The great elder pointed at Master Ning and said mysteriously. Is that so? Master Wen squinted his eyes, and then his aura surged and attacked Master Ning directly. However, Master Ning only waved his hand gently and blocked Master Wen's pressure. He even rolled his eyes at Master Wen with disdain, as if he despised his behavior. Are you trying to provoke me? Master Ning asked calmly. Who are you? The head of the Wen family was in disbelief. Even in the divine world, there were not many people who could easily nullify his attack. Although he could not exert 100% of his strength on the divine mainland, their pressure was 100%. However, this extremely ugly person in front of him not only ignored his pressure, but also easily nullified it. This was unbelievable, and it also hit his self-confidence. Who I am is not important. However, I am very interested in your provocation. Why don't we go out and have a one-on-one fight? After saying that, Master Ning grabbed Master Wen's arm and disappeared in the blink of an eye. AI, you guys wait for me. The great elder shouted loudly, and also turned into a stream of light and chased after. Continue, reading on MYB0XN0VEL. Calm seeing this, Mo Yen and the other two could only resign themselves to their fate and stay in the inn. Although they also wanted to join in the fun, the safety of Lung Ruoxia and the others was more important. Master Ning dragged Master Wen to a remote valley. After letting go of him, he looked at the person in front of him with disdain and said calmly, Let's do it here. Who are you? The head of the Wen family was shocked. His mind was filled with question marks. Since when did such a person appear in the divine realm? Why had he not heard of him before? Could it be a reverent god who had hidden from the world? It doesn't matter who I am. But since you want a one-on-one fight, I'll fulfill your wish. Master Ning said straightforwardly. After hearing Master Ning's words, Master Wen was completely depressed. Damn it. Why was it me who wanted to fight one-on-one? It was clearly you who dragged me here. However, what made him even angrier was that he couldn't resist. Wait a moment. Suddenly, the first elder's voice entered their ears. Then the first elder's figure appeared in their sight. Wait for me. I'm here to cheer you on. The first elder said with a face full of anticipation. He was looking forward to the old god of plagues being beaten black and blue by old man Ning, his head bleeding, and his appearance of not daring to see anyone. What are you doing here? When the Wen family head saw the first elder, the anger in his heart rose. Damn it, this old man actually didn't tell him this person's strength, causing him to be in such a passive position. Now he actually still had the face to come and watch the show. He was really about to die of anger. Old god of plagues, you're getting old. Are your ears not good? Didn't I say that I'm here to watch the show? The first elder said with a regretful expression. What are you here for? You're forbidden from watching. The head of the one family said angrily. TSK, what you say doesn't count. The great elder didn't think much of it. After looking at the two of them, he said as if he was making a judgment. All right, you can start the battle now. You must show me a wonderful battle. Don't worry, you'll definitely be satisfied. Master Ning narrowed his eyes and struck first. A light blue ray of light flew out from his palm like a ribbon. It spun in an arc in the air and flew directly towards the one family head. Seeing this, the one family head quickly added a shield in front of himself. The first elder had long jumped out of their battle range to avoid being affected by the innocent. One should know that a battle between reverent god-level cultivators was not a small fight. If one was too close, one would definitely die. Fortunately, they were on the divine mainland, which restricted their power. Otherwise, the Ning family's divine territory would have been destroyed. Come on, beat him up. The great elder shouted. His words caused the two people in the battle to be unable to help, but have black lines appear on their foreheads. Damn it, shut up. The head of the one family said angrily. He wouldn't think that the first elder's words were meant for him. But the first elder hoped that he would be the one to be beaten up. Old god of plague, freedom of speech. Do you understand? Also, you have to focus. Otherwise, if you're beaten up too badly, you won't be able to show your face to anyone. The first elder said in an infuriating manner. You. The head of the one family was so angry that he couldn't speak. However, his mind was a little distracted, and his shield loosened a little, giving the light blue ray an opportunity. The light blue ray and the shield collided violently, and the collision ignited countless sparks. Immediately, the light blue ray disappeared, and the shield in front of him cracked. Following that, a mouthful of blood flowed out from the corner of his mouth. Chapter 1151. Forbidden from spectating, rank up 3. Master Wen swallowed the sweet taste in his mouth and wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth. He glared at the first elder, who was dancing with joy, and then turned his eyes to Master Ning. You're very strong. The head of the one family spoke with some fear. You don't need to tell me that. Master Ning said disdainfully. Ha ha ha. Old god of plague. I've already told you to focus. The first elder said with some schadenfreude. You shut up. Master Wen was furious and was about to attack the first elder, but he was stopped by Master Ning. I'm your opponent. Master Ning reminded. Stand aside. I need to teach this old man a lesson first. The head of the one family roared in exasperation. No, you can't touch him. Do you want to be enemies with the Craftsman's Guild? Master Ning reminded him. At a critical moment, the identity of the great elder was very useful. After hearing Master Ning's words, Master Wen suppressed the anger in his heart, and once again targeted Master Ning. He truly didn't want to become enemies with the Armament Guild headquarters. Moreover, this damned old man had a grandson who was the vice president of the Alchemist Guild headquarters. When he thought of this, he was a little envious, jealous, and hateful. Why didn't their one family have such an outstanding descendant? Hee. Good luck, you guys. The great elder continued to jeer. However, this time, the one family head did not even spare him a glance. A battle between experts would usually not be a life-and-death struggle. Usually, they could decide the outcome within a few moves because the strong valued their lives more than ordinary cultivators. However, Master Ning wanted to teach Master Wen a lesson in his heart. Hence, even if he was stronger than the other party, he did not intend to stop easily. However, in this realm, he could not fight to his heart's content. Hence, he felt that it was not enough and directly punched the one family head. Instantly, a loud bang was heard in the empty valley. Bang. The sound of collision. The reverent god's body was very strong and hard, but Master Wen still felt a little pain, which showed how heavy Master Ning's punch was. Continue. Reading on MYB0XN0VL. Come damn you, you barbarian. The one family head was furious. How could this ugly freak be the same as old man Ning, not stopping even after winning, and even using his fist to beat him up? Truly preposterous. He was filled with hatred. You're right, I'm a barbarian. Master Ning smiled evilly. And this smile made him look even uglier. Ha ha. Old god of plague, you're so unlucky. Why do I get beaten up so often? How are you going to face others now? The first elder could not help but burst into laughter when he saw the bruised and swollen face of the one family's head. One should know that this old god of plagues was quite good-looking, and was also a well-known handsome man in the divine realm. However, now he had become a pig's head. How could he not be happy? However, he still felt a little regretful. It would be great if he could kill this old god of plagues. Unfortunately, Reverend God wouldn't die so easily. When did I get beaten up so often? Hearing this, the one family head could not help but clench his teeth and roar. And because he was distracted, he took another punch to the face. As far as I know, you've been beaten up by old man Ning a lot. Now you've been beaten up by someone else. The first elder reminded with an evil smile. He's the same as old man Ning, they're both barbarians. The head of the one family was furious, but he couldn't avoid the attack of this ugly woman. This made him even angrier, and began to climb up. Fuck, was this person from the same sect as the old man of the Ning family? No matter how he beat people, he always used the same technique, specifically to hit people's faces. It was really too wicked. Although he didn't think of himself as a good person, he couldn't do such a bad thing. You're right. After Master Ning gave the last punch, he stopped. The reason was simple. He was tired. Hearing the one family head's words, the great elder laughed to himself. Of course he was the same as old man Ning. It was because they were the same person. However, he would not tell the old god of plagues about this. He would let the old god of plagues think that they were two different people. Old god of plague, I beat you up today. I know you must hate me. It's okay, I'll give you a chance to take revenge. Master Ning said with an evil smile. Alright, just you wait. I'll come and find you one day. The head of the one family said angrily. He was indeed not this ugly person's match now. However, he would remember today's humiliation, and the first elder. One day he would also deal with him. Today's sudden battle had disrupted the one family head's plans. He had lost everything and was too ashamed to return to the inn. He had no choice but to leave the godly mainland. The first elder and Master Ning went back to the inn in a good mood. The old god of plagues was gone, so they could relax a little. However, the old god of plagues' subordinates were still here, so they had to be vigilant. At least before the little girl and the others came out of seclusion, they could not take it lightly, in case someone took advantage of them. After going back and telling Mo Yen and the other two about what had happened, the five people's days returned to peace. However, the Ning siblings ran to them even more frequently, reporting almost every day, making the five of them extremely annoyed. Don't come here anymore, the little girl is still in seclusion. The first elder, who was sitting in the living room, looked at the Ning siblings in front of him, who were fawning over him, and said in a somewhat annoyed tone, Grand Elder, we've come to see you. Ning Haoran said with a smile. You don't have to come every day to see us. There are no flowers on our faces. What's there to see? The great elder had a headache. He had lived for so long. But this was the first time he had met someone so thick-skinned. What was surprising was that this pair of brother and sister actually didn't know what rejection was. They clearly knew that they were not welcome, but they still came to report every day. It was really unbearable. Grand Elder, Grandpa taught us a lesson before he left. He told us to respect you, so we don't dare to show any neglect. Otherwise, Grandpa won't let us off. Since Ning Haoran brought up his grandfather, he expected that the first elder would give him some face. You can treat the words of that old god of plagues as farts. The first elder said in a rough manner. 2 drops of cold sweat fell from Ning Haoran's forehead. He was speechless. The great elder didn't even give his grandfather any face. However, he didn't dare to say that it was because of his grandfather's poor popularity. Chapter 1152. Forbidden from spectating, rank up 4. You guys should leave quickly. We still have other things to do. I don't have time to accompany you. The great elder attacked as if he was chasing away a fly. Grand Elder, If there's anything you need us to do, just tell us. Ning Haoran did not seem to understand the first elder's words, and continued to speak. The only thing we want you to do is to leave this place as soon as possible. The great elder said unhappily. Recently, he had been tormented by this pair of brother and sister, until his patience was somewhat exhausted. That's right, you guys should hurry up and leave. Don't be an eyesore here. Lu Feng said in a very impolite manner. Then we'll take our leave first. We'll come back tomorrow to pay our respects to the elders. Ning Haoran said with a smile, then left with Ning Qier. After the Ning siblings left, the eyes of the great elder and the others all focused on Master Ning. Their man-eating eyes made Master Ning's hair stand on end. Don't look at me like that. I didn't ask them to report here. If you want to settle the score, go to the old god of plagues. Master Ning said fearfully. It's none of my business. Why do I have to be blamed? The old god of plagues ran away after being beaten by you. First elder warned. Then do you want me to go to the divine realm and bring him back? Master Ning asked, trying to please him. No need. You just need to get rid of this pair of brother and sister. First elder suggested. No, their punishment hasn't been revoked yet. They still have to stay on the godly mainland. Master Ning refused. Then quickly revoke their punishment, or deal with them. Choose one. You do as you see fit. The first elder pouted his mouth and said indifferently. It was definitely impossible to revoke the punishment so quickly. Otherwise, the Ning family would follow suit in the future. In addition, he had to find a good reason to deal with them. They've been very well behaved recently, and I can't find an excuse even if I wanted to. Master Ning also said helplessly. In fact, he was also annoyed to see the brother and sister every day, but he didn't have a good reason. It seemed that he could only wait for the little girl to come out of seclusion. With that little girl around, she would definitely be able to arouse Ning Qier's strong fighting spirit. This way, it would be easier for him to find trouble. You're really useless as the head of the family. First elder's face was full of contempt. What do you know? Do you think it's that easy to manage a big family? Master Ning said with a wronged face. Continue. Reading on MYB0XN0VL. Calm. Then who can you blame? Who asked you to give birth to so many? The great elder had touched a sore spot. Damn old man, you think I don't regret it? Master Ning said gloomily, but it was too late to regret now. He couldn't strangle so many descendants to death. I don't care. You have to take care of the Ning siblings. I don't want to see them again. The great elder requested. Master Ning was silent. In the bracelet, Lung Ruoxia's cultivation had already reached the final stage. At this moment, she was surrounded by spirit qi and was charging forward with all her might. Countless spiritual qi was absorbed into her body for her own use. Not long after, the spiritual qi in her body appeared to be in a state of saturation, and then it was converted into divine power by her. Just like that, the cycle repeated again and again. After an unknown amount of time, the divine power in her body also reached saturation. At this time, her body slowly became translucent, and there was a milky white liquid flowing inside her body. This was the divine power that she had finished converting. At this moment, Lung Ruoxia could clearly feel that her heaven-defying art was about to break through. In one go, she charged towards the barrier. The divine power in her body was gathered into a thread thinner than a strand of hair. It spun quickly in her body, and after countless cycles it focused on one point to attack. The attacks were so concentrated that it was impossible to see them with the naked eye. Lung Ruoxia, who was controlling her divine power, was in a state of pain. She had to continuously absorb the spiritual energy in the bracelet to ensure that the divine power in her body was abundant. After countless attacks, the thin yet tough barrier was finally broken. The divine power in Lung Ruoxia's body was also emptied in an instant. However, after breaking through to the 6th level of the heaven-defying art, her body had once again undergone the transformation of the heaven-defying art. It had become even more perfect, without a single trace of impurity. Her natal divine flame had also evolved once again, becoming even more small and exquisite. However, Lung Ruoxia could feel that her body, which was a bottomless pit, required even more spirit qi. After absorbing it for 3 days and nights, she had not even reached 10% of the required spirit qi. This discovery made her a little depressed because it also meant that she would need even more spirit qi to break through in the future. Evildoer and Wu, who had been standing guard outside the purple bamboo house, knew that Shui had broken through when they saw the spirit qi in the medium swarming towards the purple bamboo house. They also knew that Shui needed a terrifying amount of spirit qi, so they were not surprised that Lung Ruoxue did not come out immediately after her breakthrough. Half a month later, the door of the purple bamboo house finally opened. Lung Ruoxue walked out with a smile on her face. Shui. When the demon saw Shui, he quickly stood up and walked towards her, hugging her tightly in his arms. Evildoer, I've missed you so much. Lung Ruoxue said affectionately. I missed you too. The demon's eyes were filled with deep affection as he stared unblinkingly at Lung Ruoxue. This time he did not go into closed-door cultivation with Shui. Instead, he chose to stay outside to protect her. One could only imagine how much he missed her. Cough cough. Suddenly, 2 coughs were heard. Wu appeared in front of them with a smile and couldn't help but tease. Can you guys not be so mushy? I can't stand it. You're just jealous, I don't blame you. The demon rolled his eyes and replied. Can you please consider how I feel being all alone? Wu said helplessly. I don't want to. The demon laughed evilly. Big sister, quickly help me break the seal. At this moment, Qingju, the third wheel, appeared as well. Naturally, the little black dog also appeared with him. All right, he said. Lung Ruoxue replied with a smile. Following that, she waved her hands and cast a few unsealing spells. Following the unsealing of the seal, the space trembled once again. The area expanded by several times, and the spiritual qi inside appeared to be solid. However, what made Qingju the happiest was that he had dozens more pieces of land. Once he saw those pieces of land, he did not even bother to tell Lung Ruoxue what new abilities he had and ran over with the black puppy. Chapter 1153. Forbidden from spectating, rank up 5. When Lung Ruoxue saw how anxious Qingju was, she could not help but shake her head and laugh. He was clearly an artifact spirit, so why was he so keen on farming? However, before she could finish sighing, Qingju ran back again. There were still a few drops of sweat on his cute little face, and it was obvious that he had just worked. Sister, I haven't told you what new ability I have. Hehe. Qingju said, a little embarrassed. Oh, you still remember? Lung Ruoxue teased. Well, sister, my extra ability this time that I don't think it'll be of much use to you. Qingju scratched his head and said in embarrassment. What is it? Lung Ruoxue was very curious. Transformation, to put it bluntly, means you can change your appearance and gender. Qingju explained. Even the gender can be changed? Lung Ruoxue was very surprised. Yes, I am. Qingju nodded. His sister had the disguise pill, so she basically did not need this ability of his. Hehe. I'll give it a try when I have the chance. Lung Ruoxue asked with great interest. You're not allowed to try. The demon was a little anxious when he heard that. If Shui changed her gender, what would happen to him? He didn't want to hug a man. Just thinking about it was terrifying. I'm just trying to play. It's not like you can't change back. Lung Ruoxue quickly consoled him. No, I don't want to hug a man. The demon strongly protested. Then what do we do? Lung Ruoxue really wanted to try out what it felt like to be a man. However, even if the evildoer didn't agree, she couldn't force him. She didn't want to have a conflict with him over such a small matter. Hehe. Sister, you can turn him into a woman. Qingju suggested with an evil smile. Continue, reading on MYB0XN0VEL. It can also change the gender of others? Lung Ruoxue asked in surprise. Yes, yes. Qingju looked at the demon and nodded. Demon, I'll turn you into a woman. Hehe. Lung Ruoxue suggested. I don't want to. I'm a man and you're a woman. This is a fact that no one can change. The demon said with a slight headache. How could Shui have such a thought? This was truly too dangerous. If this matter were to spread out, how would he convince the masses in the future? Therefore, he was determined to resist to the end. Then we'll both be men. Just let me play once, okay? Lung Ruoxue acted coquettishly as she tugged at the evildoer's arm and pleaded. That delicate and pitiful look of hers was definitely not something that one could bear to reject. All right. However, don't even think about making me a woman. The demon said very seriously. Yes, let Wu Dang be a woman. Lung Ruoxue laughed evilly. What does it have to do with me? Wu said gloomily. Why did he get shot while lying down? He felt so wronged. Of course it's your business. We'll only be able to protect you if you're a woman. Lung Ruoxue chuckled. He couldn't understand why women had to have flower guardians. You should just sacrifice yourself. The evildoer looked at Wu sympathetically with a hint of warning in his eyes. Since Shui wanted to play, then Wu could only cooperate. He could not refuse or else he would be the one in trouble. Then you can't tell anyone about this, he said without any conditions. He gave in to the warning look of the demon. Yes, don't worry. Only the three of us know about this. The demon promised. I also know that. Qingju saw that the demon did not include him and protested with a little dissatisfaction. You're just a child, so you don't count. The demon said proudly. Humph. You're bullying a child. I'm not going to talk to you anymore. Qingju pouted his little mouth, turned around, and walked away aggrievedly. Ha ha. Lung Ruoxue and the other two laughed heartlessly when they saw Qingju's cute expression when he was throwing a tantrum. After that, Lung Ruoxue brought the evildoer out of the bracelet. As soon as they reached the living room, they were surrounded by the 5 guys who were waiting anxiously and had nothing to do. The first elder looked at Lung Ruoxue as if she was his family member and said, Little girl, you're finally willing to come out. Lung Ruoxue's face was filled with black lines as she looked at First Elder. She didn't know what to say. She had only been in closed-door cultivation for a few months, so why did First Elder look as if she had abandoned him? This was too terrifying. Swear you've broken through? Master Ning sized Lung Ruoxue up and realized that she was actually a spirit god. He could not help but ask curiously. Yes, I can break through now, but I haven't officially advanced yet. Lung Ruoxue explained with a smile. Her heaven-defying art had indeed broken through, but even Master Ning, who was a reverent god-level cultivator, could not tell. The power that she was displaying now was still at the profound divine stage, but the divine power stored in her body was enough for her to advance. Little fox, why didn't you finish your advancement before coming out? Lu Feng's face was filled with suspicion. I don't plan on breaking through here. Lung Ruoxue spoke the truth. If she were to break through in this inn, she would not be able to keep a low profile anymore. The last thing she wanted right now was to be in the limelight. Then which gene do you want to go to? Lu Feng was a little puzzled. With them around, if Lung Ruoxue were to break through, no one would dare to disturb her. Furthermore, it would be very safe. Hence, he could not guess what this little fox was thinking. Of course we're looking for a place with no one around. Lung Ruoxue laughed evilly. Lu Feng was speechless. He should have seen it earlier. This little girl liked to go to places with no one. Hee. First Elder Godfather Mo Yen Luyue, I'm going to find a place to break through. If you have anything to say, we'll talk when we get back. After Lung Ruoxue greeted them, she pulled the evildoer out of the inn. Meanwhile, Lu Feng looked at Lung Ruoxue and Lung Shaoking's back with a face full of hidden bitterness. He muttered to himself in an aggrieved tone. Detestable little fox, why did you leave me behind? Ha. When the others heard Lu Feng's complaint, they couldn't help but laugh. When Lung Ruoxue and the evildoer left the inn, they summoned the little peacock. The two of them sat on the little peacock's back and went off to search for a place where they could advance. The little peacock flew for half a day, even out of the Ning family's divine territory, before it finally found a place that Lung Ruoxue was satisfied with. Lung Ruoxue lifted her beautiful eyes and sized up the deep ravine in front of her. The area of this ravine was extremely large, and it was surrounded by stone walls. Furthermore, one could only land here from the sky. It could be said that it was absolutely safe. She nodded her head in satisfaction, then moved her beasts out of the bracelet. She found a huge rock and sat down cross-legged. Lung Ruoxua mobilized the divine power in her body and broke through the barrier of the mystic divine realm in one fell swoop. She advanced to the early stage of the divine being realm. Following that, the rules of the heaven and earth descended from the sky and enveloped her body. The monsters and beasts held their breaths and stared at Lung Ruoxua. After a long time, the heaven-earth law slowly disappeared, and the beast tide also arrived. In an instant, thousands of laws of heaven and earth descended from the sky, and their dazzling light illuminated the dark abyss. After an unknown amount of time, the fluctuating laws of heaven and earth slowly disappeared from the world, and the valley was completely dark. After the spiritual beasts had broken through, they all began to regulate their breathing. Their advancement had brought Lung Ruoxua endless benefits. Lung Ruoxua had been sitting on the same spot the entire time, regulating the divine power in her physical strength and not opening her eyes. Almost at the same time, Lung Ruoxua and her spiritual beasts finished recuperating. She opened her eyes and looked at her spiritual beast's cultivation. She nodded in satisfaction. With this advancement, all of Lung Ruoxua's spiritual beasts had advanced to the sacred beast realm. Although most of them were only Class 1 sacred beasts, she was still very satisfied. Among them, Baisu, Fengzhan, and Mei had all advanced by 1 rank. Baisu was now a 4th-level sacred beast, Fengzhan was a 3rd-level sacred beast, and Mei had advanced to a 2nd-level sacred beast. As for the old phoenixes, even though they did not manage to advance, the spiritual energy in their bodies had almost doubled. They were very satisfied with this result. The happiest ones were Baby and the other beasts. After they advanced, they immediately mimicked Lung Ruoxua's arms and acted coquettishly, rubbing against her. Chapter 1154, Missing One. Master, am also a sacred divine beast, hee. Baby said happily. Yes. Lung Ruoxua touched this and touched that. She was also in a very good mood. Schwer. At this moment, the evildoer also walked over and smiled. Evildoer, let's go back. Lung Ruoxua said. They had been out for a long time, and if they didn't return soon, those old men would be worried. Thinking of this, she moved the bracelet out again. Beginner God, advanced God. Not bad. After Wu came out, she looked at Lung Ruoxua's cultivation and laughed. It wouldn't be long before Schwer's strength would surpass his, and he now. Yes. Hearing Wu's words, Lung Ruoxua also sensed her own strength. Hee. When she opened her eyes, she only saw the strength of the beasts and did not notice her. Schwer, are you going back? He asked. However, he did not understand why Schwer had asked him to come out. Ever since he had arrived at the godly mainland, he had rarely left the origin space. Yes, I am. Lung Ruoxua smiled evilly and nodded. Then let's go. Wu said hurriedly. He didn't know why, but he had a bad feeling that nothing good would come out of Schwer, or getting him out. Wait. Wu, you have to cooperate with me. As soon as Lung Ruoxua finished speaking, she had a change of mind. The evildoers and beasts saw a tall, handsome man transform into a weak, devastatingly beautiful woman. Even though she was not as beautiful as Lung Ruoxua, her figure was still very hot and alluring. Feeling the strange gazes on him, he subconsciously lowered his head. When he saw his sexy and enchanting figure, he almost fainted. Although he had pretended to be a woman before, it was all fake. Now his body had become a real woman. He could even feel the elasticity of his chest. What should he do? What a stunning beauty! She's even more beautiful than Ningrong. Lung Ruoxua looked Wu up and down, admiring her own masterpiece. She was extremely satisfied. However, Wu had to have a good foundation. Otherwise, it was impossible to turn an ugly man into such a beauty. Wu, she looked at Lung Ruoxua unreservedly. Her beautiful eyes were limpid like autumn water, and she looked extremely attractive. She's even more beautiful like this. I can't help but pity her. Lung Ruoxua gasped in admiration. Please reading on myboxnovel.com. Wu felt even more depressed after hearing Lung Ruoxua's words. Pitiful? He clearly wanted to cry but had no tears, okay? Alright, We can go back now. None of you should reveal Wu's identity. Lung Ruoxue reminded. Yes, yes. The demon and the beasts nodded in unison. Who would dare to say that? They were afraid that Lung Ruoxue would change their gender if she was unhappy. This was too terrifying. Lung Ruoxue placed the beasts into her bracelet, then she evildoer, and Wu sat on the little peacock's back and returned to Ning City. It was already the next morning when they arrived at Peace City. Lung Ruoxue and the other two alighted from the little peacock's back and walked straight into the inn. When Ning Xiao saw them, he quickly came up to greet them. Miss Lung, you're back. And this is? Ning Xiao saw an unfamiliar face and could not help but ask. She's my friend. Lung Ruoxue gave a simple introduction. Oh, do you need to arrange a room for her? Ning Xiao asked for Lung Ruoxue's opinion. No need. We have enough rooms. Lung Ruoxue then ordered Ning Xiao to bring breakfast to her room, and the three of them went upstairs together. First Elder and the rest were having their breakfast in the living room. They were elated to see Lung Ruoxue return. However, when they saw Wu standing behind evildoer, their faces darkened. I say, little girl, why did you bring a woman back? The First Elder was the first to ask, his face full of disapproval. In his opinion, this strange woman's background was unknown, and he should not have brought her back. That's right, little girl Shui. Or you've only been in the divine realm for a short time, and it's hard to fathom a person's heart. It's better to be careful. As for those stray cats and dogs, try not to bring them home. Master Ning said. Little fox, I thought you were quite smart. Lu Feng said in disappointment. Although Mo Yan and Lu Yue did not say anything, they kept shaking their heads. It was obvious that they did not approve of Lung Ruoxue bringing a woman back. When Lung Ruoxue saw their reactions, she couldn't help but feel a little depressed. Although she was very touched that these people were so concerned about her. Weren't they looking down on her a little too much? Did she really have such poor taste? Not to mention, that woman was a man. Thank you for your concern, but I know this woman. She's fine, don't worry. Lung Ruoxue consoled. Oh, hearing Lung Ruoxue's words, First Elder and the others didn't say anything else. However, they didn't give her any face. Wu was depressed and felt even more aggrieved. Wu, who did he offend this time? These people were actually giving him attitude. When he thought of this, his resentful gaze kept drifting over Shui'er's body. If you dare to stare at Shui'er again, be careful of your eyes. The evildoer whispered into Wu's ear. However, because the two of them were too close to each other, and their voices were extremely soft, this became ambiguous in the eyes of others. What are you guys doing? Acting all lovey-dovey in front of us. You don't want to live, do you? Master Ning's lion roar startled Lung Ruoxue, and the other two. Lung Ruoxue's forehead was filled with black lines. She thought to herself, isn't Godfather's reaction a little too big? However, after thinking about it, she could understand. After all, if she did not know Wu's identity, she would also be angry when she saw the evildoer whispering so intimately with another woman. When she thought of this, she had a better impression of this cheap godfather. Little girl, I think we should send this woman away. First Elder suggested. No need. Actually, she's that evildoer's older sister. Lung Ruoxue wiped away the cold sweat on her forehead and said hurriedly, Wu, did he go overboard this time? She really didn't expect that her godfather and the great elder would be so repulsed. Should he tell them Wu's identity? However, it was hard to explain how she had changed her gender. Now, she felt that she couldn't back down. It seemed that she could only arrange an identity for Wu. Chapter 1155, Missing 2. Little girl, don't lie to us. It's for your own good that we let her go. The First Elder said worriedly. I know, she's really the sister of a demon. Lung Ruoxue bit the bullet and said guiltily. Sob. I didn't mean to lie. However, it wasn't easy to explain the reason for its invincibility. After all, he couldn't let them know about the cosmic bangle yet. Kid. She's really your sister? Master Ning pointed at Wu Wen unhappily. Yes. The demon nodded helplessly, then looked at Shui. or with a hint of resentment. We've known each other for so long. Why haven't I heard you mention it before? The great elder's face was full of doubt. In his opinion, this pair of siblings did not have the slightest bit of similarity. So how could they be relatives? We have been separated for a long time. We met by accident yesterday. The demon said after thinking for a while. What a coincidence. Did your sister also ascend from the How continent? Lu Feng asked calmly. Yes. The demon nodded. When did she ascend? Where have you been all these years? Lu Feng continued to ask. I ascended earlier than them, so I've been staying in the Ascender Alliance. Wu replied calmly. All right, Lu Feng, you don't have to check her identity. She's really fine. Leng Ruoxue said helplessly. If Lu Feng continued to ask, the truth would definitely be revealed. I did it for you, you heartless little fox. Lu Feng glared at Leng Ruoxue and said with slight displeasure. I know. Thank you for your concern. You must believe in my judgment. Leng Ruoxue reminded. Since the little fox said so, let's believe her. Lu Yue chuckled and tried to smooth things over. At the same time, there was a knock on the door. Ning Xiao had brought their breakfast to their room. Please reading on myboxnovel.com, everyone let's eat. Leng Ruoxue urged and changed the topic. After breakfast, Master Ning and the others were shocked to find out that Leng Ruoxue's cultivation base was actually at the early divine being advanced stage. Before this, their attention was all on that strange woman, so they did not have the time to check on this little girl's strength. Little girl, you're advancing really fast. You're actually an early divine being. Master Ning exclaimed in admiration. This girl was really amazing. On the godly mainland, there were 3 levels of deities: mysterious god, elementary deity, intermediate deity, and advanced deity. The early, intermediate, and advanced deity levels were further divided into upper, middle, and lower. Most of the time, those who advanced from mysterious god to elementary deity would only be at the early beginner deity level. Only a small number of them could directly advance to the middle early deity level. As for those who advanced to the high deity level, although it was not unheard of, it was extremely rare and could be ignored. Not bad. The great elder also nodded in satisfaction. Although they were both elementary gods, there was still a huge gap between elementary and advanced gods. The most intuitive manifestation of this was in divine power. If elementary gods could only accommodate twice the divine power of their bodies, then advanced elementary gods could accommodate almost 3 times the divine power of their bodies. In simple words, the more divine power they could accommodate, the more divine skills they could use in battle. Divine power could not be used limitlessly. Hee. Little fox, hurry up and become a deity so you can come with us to the deity world to play. Lu Feng said with a face full of anticipation. You think it's that easy to advance? Leng Ruoxue rolled her eyes at Lu Feng as she spoke, feeling a little speechless. The amount of spiritual qi she needed to advance was something that no one else could imagine. However, it was fortunate that she had the universal bracelet. Otherwise, she really didn't know how long it would take for her to advance by 1 level. Hee. You're a little fox, not an ordinary person. I believe you. Lu Feng said with a light smile. When Leng Ruoxue heard Lu Feng's words, she was deeply speechless. I really don't know where this guy's confidence comes from. After that, everyone started to talk about what had happened during this period of time. When Leng Ruoxue found out that the Ning siblings were still in the divine mainland, she couldn't help but be surprised. She couldn't understand why her foster father hadn't dealt with the siblings after such a long time. His godfather's efficiency was too low. Little girl Shuer Hee. I'm waiting for you to come out and help me. Master Ning said, a little embarrassed. Godfather, this is your family matter. It's not my place to interfere. Leng Ruoxue was a little speechless. Why was this old man so lazy? If it wasn't for Master Ning's face, how could the brother and sister have reached this point? And now that she had recognized Master Ning as her godfather, it was even more inconvenient for her to make a move. Shui, or are you really not going to help me? Master Ning said with a wronged face. Godfather, as the master of the Ning family, do you need my help to deal with 2 juniors? Life or death is all up to you, old man. Lung Ruoxue reminded him. He really didn't know what this old man was so conflicted about. Little girl, this old man is very ambitious. How could he be satisfied with just dealing with 2 juniors? However, the big fish he wanted to catch didn't take the bait, so he could only wait. The great elder said. He was clear in his heart that old man Ning had been biding his time, because he wanted to clear the obstacles for his successor. The other party had not made any big moves, so it was not good for old man Ning to make a move. Oh, godfather, I'm not good at hookfish. I can't help you. Lung Ruoxue said with a faint smile. She wasn't stupid, so she naturally didn't want to get involved in the Ning family's storm. Besides, this wouldn't do her any good. Instead, it would bring her endless trouble, which wasn't what she wanted. I am such a poor old man. Master Ning pretended to be pitiful, but unfortunately, he was ignored by everyone present. Little girl, when will Fengda and the others come out of seclusion? The Grand Elder asked curiously. It should be soon. Why? Is there something you need, old man? Lung Ruoxue chuckled as she asked. Let's leave this place after they come out of seclusion. As for old man Ning, just let him stay here with the Ning siblings. First Elder suggested with a smirk. All right, he said. Lung Ruoxue nodded. Swear you little girl. Master Ning called out pitifully. However, Lung Ruoxue turned her head to the other side and said to the crowd, Let's go for a walk on the streets. Chapter 1156. Missing 3. Then he pulled Evildoer and Wu Li out of the living room. After leaving the inn, Lung Ruoxue and the other 2 strolled aimlessly on the streets. Actually, going out for a walk was just an excuse. She really didn't want to be pestered by Master Ning. Swear, where are we going? Walking on the street without any awkwardness, he asked uneasily. I'll just walk around. Wu, relax, don't be so nervous. Lung Ruoxue laughed. Looking at his sneaky appearance, people who didn't know would think that he had done something bad. I want to go back to the inn. Wu said softly. The gazes of the pedestrians on the street made him feel very disgusted. He just came out. We haven't had a good tour of Ning City, have we? Lung Ruoxue asked. There's nothing to get better here. Let's go back. He said without any requirements. Who says there isn't? I heard that there's a waterfall not far from the main city. Let's go there and take a look. Lung Ruoxue suggested. Yes. The demon nodded. He would not reject any of Shui Heir's requests. As for none, under Lung Ruoxue's beautiful gaze, he could not say a single word of rejection. Therefore, he could only accept his fate and risk his life to accompany the gentleman. The 3 of them asked around for the exact location of the waterfall on the street, then headed in the direction of the waterfall. The waterfall was located on the outskirts of Peace City. Although it was called the outskirts, it was quite a distance from the main city. The 3 of them sat on the little peacock and flew for nearly 2 hours before they arrived at the waterfall. In the air, Lung Ruoxue and the other 2 looked down at the vast and majestic silvery white waterfall from above. It was as if their mood had suddenly soared to the clouds. Furthermore, the slight breeze that the waterfall brought with it was exceptionally cool when it blew on their bodies. After ordering the little peacock to land, Lung Ruoxue was the first to jump down from its back. She walked to the side of the waterfall impatiently. From a closer look, the waterfall was even more beautiful. It was as if a silver ribbon was hanging in the air. The pond under the waterfall was clear, and the bottom could be seen. The fish were swimming around happily. Other than the waterfall in her bracelet, this should be the only waterfall she had seen in the other world, and it seemed to be much bigger than the one in her bracelet. Please reading on Mibo X Novel. Lung Ruoxue found a huge rock and sat down, enjoying the cool breeze. With a thought, she took out her beastie from her bracelet. The moment the shape-shifting beasts came out, they immediately occupied the space in Lung Ruoxue's arms. Evildoer and Wu saw that her body was covered in cute beasts and could not help but laugh. After Ling came out, he saw the clear water and looked at his master's wrist that he had snatched with great difficulty. He couldn't choose. Seeing how conflicted it was, Lung Ruoxue could not help but find it funny. Among her beastie, Ling was one of the ones who preferred water. If you want to go, then go. Lung Ruoxue chuckled. Yes, I'm just going down to swim. Ling Huan nodded her little head happily and kept promising. After he finished speaking, he plopped. He jumped into the water and started swimming. My lovely master, I want to taste the fish in the pond. Baby looked at the fat fish in the pond and drooled. All right, Ling, bring a few fish up. Lung Ruoxue ordered Ling Wan, who was happily swimming in the pond. The fish is here. Ling Tian instantly enlarged his body and swung his thick tail, causing the fish in the pond to rush towards the shore. Master, is that enough? Ling asked loudly. Yes, that's enough. Lung Ruoxue was speechless as she looked at the small mountain of fish by the shore. She didn't know what to say, but the fish were still alive and kicking. Baby, take the beasts and clean up the fish. We'll make fish to eat later. Lung Ruoxue said. After arranging the beastmen's work, Lung Ruoxue was in charge of starting the fire and roasting the fish. Fengda and the rest were still in closed-door cultivation, so they could only do it themselves. Baby waited for the beast to clean up the fish before skewering them and placing them over the fire. Lung Ruoxue only had to watch the fire and add the seasoning. After a short while, the fragrant fish was ready. Lung Ruoxue had also cooked some rice and 2 large pots of delicious fish soup. The fragrance of the fish had roused the appetites of the people and beasts. Ling, stop swimming. Come up and eat. Lung Ruoxue called out to Ling when she saw that he was still in the water. Ehe. Master, I'm coming. After Ling finished speaking, he prepared to go ashore. Suddenly, the calm water in the pool became turbulent. Waves appeared on the surface of the water and formed whirlpools. Under the push of this unknown force, Ling was like a lonely boat in the wind and rain. Ling, quickly come up. Lung Ruoxue, who felt a sense of danger, quickly shouted. Master, I can't move. Ling swung its body left and right, but it couldn't get rid of the buoyancy that trapped it in the water. Furthermore, there seemed to be a force that was constantly pulling it down, which made it a little anxious. Don't be afraid, I'll help you. After Lung Ruoxue finished speaking, she intended to go into the pond to help Ling. However, she was pulled back by the demon. Shui, you stay here. I'll go down and help it. The demon stopped Shui, and said. Then you have to be careful. Lung Ruoxue said hurriedly. Yes. The demon nodded and went into the pool. Ling, relax. The demon hugged Ling Shua's huge body and kept comforting it. I'm so uncomfortable. Ling said painfully. It even felt that breathing was becoming more and more difficult. Can you transform into your mimicry appearance? The demon asked. Ling was too big for him to carry. I'll try. Ling said. However, after trying for a long time, it still couldn't mimic it. No, I can't move. Ling Tian said disappointedly. What was going on? Don't worry, I'll think of a way. The demon consoled. Ling had been following Shui, ever since they were on the Wind Edge continent. So he was very clear about the feelings Shui had for these beasts. Naturally, he wouldn't let anything happen to Ling. However, with Ling in such a state, it would be very difficult for him to get him out of the water. Chapter 1157. Missing 4. Before the demon could think of a solution, the water in the pool began to move again. This time it was even more violent than the previous time. Waves half the height of a person rolled up high, directly enveloping the demon and Ling. Be careful. Lung Ruoxue looked at this unusual wave and was extremely nervous. She wanted to go up and help, but she was blocked by an unknown force. She could not reach the edge of the pool at all. After the wave disappeared, the evil spirit and Ling also disappeared. Demon Ling, where are you guys? Lung Ruoxue saw that the water had returned to its calm state. She quickly ran to the side of the pool and jumped in. However, other than the clear water and the fish that were swimming around in the water, there was no sign of evildoer or Ling. The man and beast had disappeared into thin air. Shui, don't worry. With that demon around, nothing will happen. Wu Yi jumped into the pool and consoled her, her eyes constantly sizing up the pool that did not seem to have any abnormalities. It was so strange. Why did they suddenly disappear? Wuan pondered, but he couldn't understand. My lovely master, don't worry too much. They'll be fine. Treasure also consoled him after searching around. I know, Leng Ruoxue nodded. She had a soul contract with Ling. If something happened to Ling, she would have sensed it. But now, it was as if something was blocking the connection between her and Ling. This was something she could not figure out. However, with the demon around, she could rest assured. Girl, there doesn't seem to be anything unusual here. The old phoenix, Fengzhan, said after scanning the area with a secret technique of the Phoenix clan. Yes. Leng Ruoxue nodded and took out an Yu from her bracelet. The current in Yu had almost recovered to its peak. After Leng Ruoxue explained the situation to an Yu, he walked around the pond. Then he jumped into the pond and looked around. In the end, he shook his head in regret. Master, I didn't find much here. However, if I'm not wrong, there should be a formation here, and the disappearance of Captain Yi and Ling must be related to that formation. And Yu expressed his thoughts. A formation? And Yu, did the people of the divine realm in the past know how to set up formations? Leng Ruoxue asked curiously. Yes, master. However, that was a long time ago. I'm afraid that there are fewer and fewer people in the divine realm who know about formation techniques now. And Yu sighed. When he said few, he did not mean that there were very few people who knew about arrays. Instead, he meant that there were very few people who were proficient in arrays. Although he had been sealed for many years, he had not found many artifact masters who were especially proficient in arrays when he returned to the divine world this time. Of course, the few from the Artifact Masters Guild were still passable. Then are you proficient in array formations? Leng Ruoxue could not help but ask. Please reading on Mibo X Novel. Master, I only have a superficial knowledge. However, compared to the people of the divine world, I definitely know more. And you said humbly, then can you tell what kind of formation is set up here? Leng Ruoxue said, feeling a little depressed. The fact that Yu was able to discover the array here was enough to prove that his array skills were above hers. After all, she had not discovered any signs of an array here. Master, the formation here gives me a very strange feeling. I can't really put my finger on it. And Yu said guiltily. He felt extremely sorry for not being able to help his master. Oh, Leng Ruoxue nodded her head, deep in thought. After a while, Leng Ruoxue raised her head and looked at the worried faces of the Wuha beasts. She said softly, let's go back first. All right, he said. Wuha and the other beasts nodded their heads in unison. They did not dare to mention this matter anymore, afraid that they would touch on Leng Ruoxue's sore spot. Leng Ruoxue kept the spirit beasts into her bracelet and returned to the inn with Wu on the little peacock. After briefly explaining the situation to the Grand Elder and the rest, she returned to the waterfall with the Grand Elder and the rest. Even though Leng Ruoxue had repeatedly assured them that she was fine, they were still worried. Hence, all of them had followed her. The 5 of them walked around the pond a few times, knocking here and there, but they didn't find anything unusual. Swear, little girl, you'd better come back to the inn with us first. When you go back, ask the Ning family to send someone to look for you. We'll definitely return you the demon and the little snake in perfect condition. Master Ning promised. Godfather, Ling isn't a snake, it's a flood dragon. Leng Ruoxue corrected him. She was really helpless about them following her. However, she could not reject their concern. Chapter 1158. The Vengeful Spirit in the Blood Mist 1. Good. It's a flood dragon, so it doesn't matter what it is. Let's go back first. I'll have the Ning family send people to look for them, and they'll definitely return you a complete evildoer and flood dragon. Master Ning wiped the cold sweat from his forehead and comforted him. Godfather, you guys go back first. Don't worry about me, I'll find them. Leng Ruoxue said helplessly. How can we do that? How can we be at ease leaving you here alone? Master Ning and the Great Elder said in unison. Godfather, Great Elder, I'm not alone. Leng Ruoxue reminded. How could it not be? The 2 of them looked at each other and said with certainty. After hearing their words, Wuku laughed bitterly. So these two didn't even treat him as a human. He was depressed. However, it was not the time to refute them. Godfather, doesn't your Ning family still have things to deal with? Go back to your work. It'll really be fine. Lung Ruoxua was speechless. The Ning family's matter is important, but my goddaughter's matter is equally important. Unless you come back with me, we'll keep you company. Master Ning said stubbornly. He had a feeling that something was not right here, but he could not put his finger on it. Hence, how could he be at ease leaving Lung Ruoxua here? Little girl, why don't you come back with us first and wait for old man Ning to deal with his family matters? Then we'll come back with you. The great elder discussed and winked at Master Ning. They had the same opinion, that was they couldn't let the little girl stay here alone, in case she encountered danger. Yup. Shui or come back with us first. Give me 2 days, I'll send people from the Ning family to look for him. 2 days later, we'll come together. Master Ning suggested. All right then. Lung Ruoxua replied helplessly. She realized that if she didn't agree, these two old men wouldn't even let her stay here. Then let's go back quickly. It's getting late today. The two of them immediately said. After that, everyone returned to the inn together. After returning to the inn, Lung Ruoxua greeted First Elder, and the others before entering the bracelet with Wu. Sitting on the stone chair in front of the purple bamboo house, Wu looked at Lung Ruoxua worriedly and comforted her. Swear, don't worry. They'll be fine. Please reading on myboxnovel.com. Yes, I know. Lung Ruoxua nodded. Rather than saying that she was worried about the demon and Ling's whereabouts, it would be better to say that she was not used to not having the demon by her side. However, she believed that the demon must be thinking about her right now. Swear, what are your plans? Wu asked again. As you can see, if I didn't agree to come back with them, they wouldn't have let me stay there to look for Yao Nian and Ling. We can only let them have their way now. Lung Ruoxua sighed softly. Towards those who truly cared about her, she could never harden her heart. Hence, she naturally could not reject the two old men's kind intentions. It'll be much safer with them around. Wu said softly. Although Shui had a lot of life-saving means, it was not appropriate to expose all of them now. If they had the protection of Master Ning and the Great Elder, their actions would be much smoother. I know. Lung Ruoxua nodded. Wu, rest early, said Lung Ruoxua. After she finished speaking, she returned to the purple bamboo house. Meanwhile, in another room in the inn, the Grand Elder, Master Ning, and the other four were still not resting. They were gathered together and discussing something. I say, Old Man Ning, you really didn't find anything? The Great Elder asked curiously. Old Man Ning's strength was above his. What he didn't discover, Old Man Ning might be able to discover. No, it's just that place gives me a very strange feeling. Why didn't I notice it before? Master Ning frowned and asked in confusion. Tisk, don't you know how many times you've been to the godly mainland? Besides, you've been to that waterfall. The First Elder said. Master Ning was speechless. In fact, what he meant was, why didn't his divine sense that there was something wrong? How could he have been everywhere? Old Man Ning, since you haven't found anything, then don't think about it. You should quickly finish your work. I don't want the little girl to get anxious and run away. The First Elder said worriedly. Yes, I'll ask my subordinates to come over tomorrow and explain the things here to them. Then I'll go with Shui to find the person. Master Ning thought for a while and said, You'd better look for Qiuqiu for the antidote first. Otherwise, if your subordinates don't recognize you, it'll be a joke. The Great Elder teased. How is that possible? Master Ning was a little speechless. Who couldn't recognize him? It was impossible for his own subordinates not to recognize him. After all, compared to his descendants, his subordinates were the people who had spent the most time with him. Hee. It's hard to say. The Great Elder laughed evilly as he finished speaking. He then stood up and patted his butt before leaving. However, the Great Elder's concern was obviously unnecessary, because when the trusted subordinates of Master Ning arrived, they recognized Master Ning at a glance, which made Master Ning extremely proud, and even slightly provocative to the Great Elder. Old man, I told you my subordinates wouldn't recognize me. This was just an accident. The first elder disapprovingly said. TSK, I know you're jealous. Master Ning said with a happy smile. Master Ning's subordinates listened to the conversation between the two people, and cold sweat dripped down from their foreheads. They couldn't help but secretly think, Master, we've been with you for so long. If we still can't recognize you, wouldn't that be a dereliction of duty? So, there was really nothing to be proud of. Old man Ning, let's get down to business. The great elder didn't want to argue with Master Ning and reminded him. Yes. Master Ning nodded and explained the situation to his subordinates. Then his subordinates split into two groups. One group went to the waterfall to check, and the other went to the VIP room on the 5th floor to find the Ning siblings. When the Ning siblings saw Master Ning's subordinates, they were dumbfounded. These people were the closest people to the old ancestor, and their arrival was enough to show that the old ancestor was also here. Chapter 1159. The Vengeful Spirit in the Blood-Red Mist, 2. By the orders of the Patriarch, in bringing you back to the Divine Realm to await your punishment. A black-robed man said coldly, We want to see our ancestor. Let us see our ancestor. Ning Haoran was struggling on his deathbed. He knew that if his ancestor sent these people out, they would not be pardoned even if they returned to the Ning family. In the hands of these people, the brother and sister would probably die. You want to see the Patriarch? However, I don't know if the Patriarch wants to see you. The grave and stern black-clothed man said with a somewhat difficult expression. Please let us see our ancestor. Ning Haoran begged. All right then. However, you'll have to ask the Patriarch first. After the man in black finished speaking, he gave the others a look and went out for a walk. Then he returned to the room where the Ning siblings were. The Patriarch agrees with you. The man in black said in a cold tone. In fact, before he came here, the family had told him that if the brother and sister wanted to see him, he had to bring them here, but he couldn't agree to it easily. That was why he deliberately pretended to be in a difficult position. Thank you, Senior. Ning Haoran said gratefully. The siblings were then brought to the living room on the 3rd floor. The two of them looked at the few people sitting there, and looked at the man in black in confusion. Their eyes were filled with question marks. Didn't you all want to see the master? The black-clothed man said indifferently. But there's no ancestor here. How could you lie to us? Ningqier said unhappily. Who says there isn't? This subordinate greets the Patriarch. The man in black saluted Master Ning with respect. Yes. Master Ning nodded and turned his eyes to the Ning siblings. Old ancestor. Ning Haoran was so scared that he stuttered. How could this be? How could this person be the old ancestor? He could not believe it. However, it was impossible for the man in black to recognize someone else as his master. However, he could not accept this result because it meant that the old ancestor would not let them off. This extremely ugly man had seen everything that Ning Qi had done with his own eyes. This was enough to show that the old ancestor would not allow them to quibble. How is this possible? How can you be the ancestor? Ningqier shouted dumbfounded. She couldn't accept this fact at all. This accident was too big a blow to her. She never dreamed that the ugly woman she was talking about was actually the ancestor that she had always wanted to please. She had actually scolded her own ancestor. What should she do? When she thought of this, she was really a little scared. Please reading on myboxnovel.com. Why can't I be the Ning family's old ancestor? Ningqi, you've scolded me before. Master Ning reminded. I didn't know you were the ancestor. Ningqier argued. I don't want to hear this reason. Ningshan, bring them back to the divine realm to await punishment. Without my orders, no one is allowed to pardon them, and even more so, no one is allowed to let them out. Master Ning ordered. Yes, Master. The black-clothed man Ningshan replied very respectfully. Also, you can deal with Ning Rong, and the others as well. Ning Fei will be the head of the Nings in the godly land. Master Ning arranged. Yes. Yes, Master. Ningshan responded. then bowed respectfully to Master Ning, and planned to leave with the Ning siblings. However, Ning Qi suddenly broke free from his control and ran to Master Ning, asking loudly, "Old ancestor, what is your relationship with Lung Ruoxue? What's wrong? You're still concerned about her identity?" Master Ning was speechless. Did Ning Qi really mind the existence of this little girl? Even at a time like this, she still did not forget to question him. "Old ancestor, please tell me. Otherwise, I won't be able to rest in peace." Ning Qi said loudly, "She's my goddaughter. Are you satisfied with this answer?" Master Ning asked with a faint smile. "Goddaughter? Why did you take her in as your goddaughter?" Ning Qi didn't know where she got the courage from, but she shouted at the top of her voice, burning with jealousy, "Do I need your permission to accept someone as my goddaughter?" Master Ning squinted his eyes and asked unhappily, I didn't mean it that way. Old ancestor, you've misunderstood." Ning Qi quickly explained in fear. "Ning Shan, take them away and tell the people from the main family to behave themselves. Otherwise, I don't mind dealing with them as well." Master Ning looked at Ning Qi with a look of disgust and instructed Ning Shan. "Yes, master." Ning Shan quickly responded. In order to prevent Ning Qi from escaping again, he took out a rope from his storage ring and tied the Ning siblings into a bundle. Then, he bowed slightly to the first elder and the others, and led them out of the living room. After Ning Shan left with Ning Haoran and his sister, first elder looked at Master Ning and complained, "If you had dealt with them earlier, the little girl's man and beastie would not have gone missing. Ai. How can you blame me for this? How could I have known that this would happen?" Master Ning said with an aggrieved face. "Master, what's the point of saying all this now? The most important thing is to find Yechen and that little beast." Mo Yin reminded, "Don't worry, I've already sent people to look for him." Master Ning consoled. The man and the beast had gone missing, which made them feel quite down. "Godfather, where did they take Ning Haoran and his sister?" Suddenly, Lung Ruoxue's voice entered the ears of the five of them. "I've sent people to bring them back to the divine realm." Shui, little girl, I've already sent people to guard the waterfall. If they discover anything, they will immediately return to report. Master Ning said quickly. "Oh, have you finished dealing with Godfather's matter?" Lung Ruoxue asked calmly. Godfather's speed was really fast this time. It was settled in less than 2 days. It's over," Master Ning said helplessly. It seemed that this little girl was really impatient. "Then let's go to the waterfall," Lung Ruoxue said hurriedly. The five of them had an expression that said as expected. Hee. Since the little girl is so anxious, let's go." The first elder laughed. "You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.